Duke of the sideline, Evan Washburn. And Evan, great seat for you tonight to watch the battle of the backup quarterbacks unfold in the preseason opener.
Yeah, this should be a good one. No Lamar Jackson, no real surprise there, but we have to keep a close eye on this heated competition, really, for the backup role. John Harbaugh making it clear to us that it's neck and neck right now between Trace McSorley and Tyler Huntley. Nobody's been able to sort of separate from the other. They're going to look at these 3 preseason games as the real indicator on who gets this job. They like both, but they know this numbers game could get tight down the stretch. So this is huge. As we know, the backup role each year critical, but now more than ever.
The captains have met at midfield. And the big difference from a year ago, look all around the outside of the field. The fans returned along with football this year. Last year it felt like playing and watching football on Mars. And Rod and Mike, from a coach and a player's perspective, how valuable is it to have fans back in the seats tonight?
I think it's valuable. I mean, we love that energy, especially when you're at home. You love that energy. You feed off of that as a player, especially when everything is going right for you. So it's great to see everybody here. It was kind of eerie last year not to see that, so I'm glad we're back to somewhat normal.
Yeah, and that's not even when you're at home. That's when you're away. Players they like it in the stands as well, even on away games. You know, you like to hear them because you'd like to quiet them down.
And that is part of the strategy, of course. The Saints will get the ball first. Justin Tucker. We'll get a real quick read as to whether or not the Ravens want to see their kick coverage team in action. We all know Justin Tucker can put the ball on Russell Street, so if he hangs it high and short, that is very much by design. You want to work on a lot of different things in preseason. Special teams has been a backbone since John Harbaugh arrived as a former special teams coordinator. And this year, of course, will be no different. The most accurate field goal kicker in NFL history, Justin Tucker, will get us started tonight. Ty Montgomery, the veteran, is deep for the Saints, and preseason 2021 is underway. This one will be taken at the 5. Montgomery brings it out across the 15, and he will pinball his way to the 26. It will be Taysom Hill getting the started quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Mike, as we talk about the Ravens quarterback situation, whether you keep 2 or 3, it comes down to whether you think you can get a guy through waivers. Taysom Hill is a great lesson in sometimes not getting a guy through waivers.
That's exactly right. It's been about 3 or 4 years now, but when Taysom Hill was with the Green Bay Packers, they got to the end, they got down to the final cut, and they decided to expose him to the pickup board, and he was claimed by the New Orleans Saints. He's been there ever since, but that was a real regret and not a good decision on their part.
All of the decisions that coaches and the general managers have to make in the month of August. We've been lucky so far with weather. There were thunderstorms in the forecast. We have sidestepped that, so we've had clean weather. It is hot and muggy. A cold front is projected to come through. Right about now, I can't believe any of the young guys on the field even feel the weather. It is all heartbeat and adrenaline. Tavius Murray in the backfield with Taysom Hill. The Saints move beyond the Drew Brees era. Ravens rushing 4. Hill's first pass is dropped at the 34. And there's Marcus Peters right on the corner. Rod, it might be August, but Marcus Peters strikes me as somebody who's already thinking about pick 6.
I thought that was going to be a pick 6. So that's normally what he would jump. And he normally jumps it early in a game. He's just one of those players that really has flourished under Don Martindale's defense.
John Harbaugh loves having some of the best corners in the business to rely on. Second down and 10. The ground game, Murray. Classic Ravens defense. Justin Ellis leading the charge, and the Saints will face a 3rd and long on the opening drive of 2021 preseason.
You know, one of the unique things that Wink does do on defense is that he commits a lot of people to the line of scrimmage. So just like right there, you just saw Ron. It could even have been a 4-man rush or something front, but the fact that he has all those people there, it's tough to block everybody.
It definitely is.
While Sean Payton tries to figure out who his quarterback will be in 2021, he's getting an early test. Taysom Hill out of the gun. Martindale had 9 guys along the line. Let's see how many he brings, Rod. He's bringing 8 by my count.
He's bringing it on.
And Taysom Hill able to beat the blitz. His pass is complete to Marquez Callaway, and the Saints will move the chain as Marlon Humphrey makes the stop.
And I would think Marlon Humphreys in a critical situation would jump that because he knows he's bringing pressure. I mean, he brought it was zero coverage. They got to get it out fast or he's going to get sacked.
Gives your defensive coordinator a lot of options when you have Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey at the corners. Taysom Hill off the play fake. Fires across midfield, complete to the Ravens 45. And that's Callaway taken down at the Ravens 35-yard line. And the Saints move into Ravens territory for the first time tonight. Jerry Sandusky, Ron Woodson, Mike Nolan with you live from the Verizon broadcast booth here on the preseason opener.
Something to look for right here. This is a 1st and 10, the first time they've crossed the 50-yard line. It would be interesting to me. You watch. He might take a shot. He might just try to run even a reverse or something. But usually people get across the midfield like this, and they try something a little gadget-like.
Taysom Hill from under center. Go back to Murray. And he is stuffed after a gain of only 2. Malik Harrison, second-year linebacker out of Ohio State. Rod, everybody talks about the jump between your rookie year and your second year as an NFL player. What does that entail?
Just comfortability. I mean, you're more comfortable. You've seen it. You've been through the process. You kind of hit that rookie wall the year before, and now you're coming into it having more understanding to how you can accomplish things on the football field.
Opening drive of the 21 preseason. Hill with a quick toss to Ty Montgomery outside the numbers, and Jalen Ferguson is right there to wrestle him to the ground and set up another 3rd down for the Saints. Jalen Ferguson, a young man who's in his 3rd season, needs the big training camp and preseason to ensure he has a roster spot. That's part of the drama of this time of the year. Young guys don't know, do they have a job?
And I really like to see that Brandon Stevens came in. He's a rookie safety. I like to see how he plays under this wing, Don Martindale's defense.
Trying to wink and dink. Dink and dunk on wink.
Too many dunks. Too many dinks.
Taysom Hill on 3rd down. Flush from the pocket. Has to throw it along the sideline. He's got a man. It's his favorite target, Marquez Callaway, with a reception at the 10-yard line. And the Saints will have it for the first time tonight in the Grill Mates red zone as we take another look.
Yeah, really couldn't. Just seems like Marcus Peters just let him get behind him. And that's something that, you know, he has to work on, because sometimes he will put his foot in the ground and try to steal something and they can get behind him.
So the Saints threatening on the opening drive. Give right up the middle. Ball comes loose and the Ravens have recovered it at the 9-yard line. Deshaun Elliott with a fumble recovery. And he will drag an offensive player out across the 20 to the 22. And the Ravens forced the first turnover of preseason and denied the Saints in the Grill Mates red zone as Latavius Murray tested the interior of the Ravens defensive line. Malik Harrison with the stick. Deshaun Elliott with the rolling pickup, and alertly started to run with the ball because it was not tagged. Booth is going to take a look at this.
1st and 10, timeout.
Oh, so a quick call came down from the booth. And that's one of the new things here in 2021. We'll explain that on the other side of the break. Scoreless opening quarter of the Ravens Game Day Network. Tonight's Ravens Game Day Network is presented by Geico. Ravens defense forcing a fumble on the Saints' first possession, and that puts the ball in the hands of Trace McSorley. J.K. Dobbins in the backfield. The Ravens will start the drive at their 8-yard line. Off the play fake. McSorley from the end zone goes complete. Short gain. That's his tight end, Josh Oliver. He may have lost a yard on the completion.
You know, not only because it's a backed up play, but early in these drives, what you're going to see, just like you saw before they threw that dig route that the New Orleans Saints did, but you're going to see a lot of horizontal plays. Right there, he had a bootleg. Good safe play for the quarterback to come out, get a completion, or run with it if he has to. You could very well see a run, RPO, screen, things like that come out early.
Sorely getting the start tonight. We'll see Tyler Huntley likely in the second half of tonight's game. Give us to Dobbins off left tackle, cuts it back along the hash. And the Ravens will have a 3rd and long. As we go back to that Saints fumble, let's take a look at what the Ravens defense did to take the ball away from Latavius Murray.
I mean, Harrison just put his helmet right onto the ball, stripped it out of there. When the ball goes on the ground, you have to get that turnover as a defense.
So fundamentally sound on that play. Coaches talk about throughout training camp. 3rd down and 10. The Ravens think they drew the Saints offside.
You know, one of the nice things about that play that Malik made right there was they had those double motion coming back, and he waited rather than chasing that guy to the flat. He kind of let him get past him before he left the box. Therefore, he was able to step in there and make a real nice play on that. Yeah.
Defense number 97. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Because that motion belongs to him, and in a passing situation, he'd have to get that guy to the flat. But he hung in there long and did, you know, like you saw, a nice caused fumble.
And if we're in October, maybe John Harbaugh and Greg Roman are thinking change the play call. But you just stick with the same play call here, even though it's 3rd and 5? Or are you trying to find out who can handle some mental challenges early in the game?
You know, it is a different situation. 5 is a lot different than 10.
And Trace McSorley is wrapped up on what looked like a design quarterback draw. It didn't work. And the Ravens will be forced to punt the ball away.
Yeah, I hope that they really try to see what these the backup quarterbacks have. You know, can they lead this football team? Can they move the ball down the field on a consistent basis? Can they be that leader in the huddle? Because if anything, we saw what happened last year, you know, with Lamar. You know, he did come out, he did come back. So they need to have that assurance that somebody can be there if Lamar does go down.
Yeah.
Sam Cook will punt out of the end zone. Piece of Winston deep for the Saints. Sam Cook with a vintage moonshot. Fair catch made by Winston, and the Saints will have the ball when we come back. Scoreless in the opening quarter. 9:08 to play. Frame number 1 on the Ravens Game Day Network. Great to have you with us tonight on the preseason opener here in Baltimore. Rod Woodson, Mike Nolan, Jerry Sandusky with you live from the Verizon broadcast booth. We're scoreless. And Mike, as we take a look at the goals for this game offensively, what are you looking for? What do the Ravens want to do tonight?
Well, as I was saying earlier in the broadcast with Mark Roman and talking to him, he really wants to see the two quarterbacks just execute the game. He doesn't want to give them too much from a scheme standpoint. He's trying to just give them the base plays, I believe, and let them have some success. Now, the unfortunate thing about the last series is it started way backed up, so he's kind of got his hands tied, both of them, and so that makes it a little rough. But nonetheless, like I said, I think he's going to call a lot of plays. Even when they come back out again, he's going to call high percentage plays. He'll probably call screen or call some 3-step. If he does call a pass down the field, it'll likely be a play-action pass, so he gets good protection. But he wants to kind of get them in a groove, give them some confidence. That's the big thing when they start. Give them some confidence. Let them come out of there, 3 out of 4 with, 30 yards or whatever, or something that's positive.
Now it's the Saints will look for their positive yardage on 1st down. They go back to the ground game. Latavius Murray off the left side, not much there. Ravens limit him to 2 yards. So a new season, but an old storyline, Rod. A good run defense to start things. And Patrick Queen now in his 2nd year. What are you looking for from the 2nd-year linebacker out of LSU?
Confidence. Even he said that in the meeting. He wants to be sure about what he's doing, and he has to put his foot in the ground and go make plays.
Taysom Hill, deep drop. Check down pass, incomplete. As we go back to Patrick Queen, he is a very impressive young man who credits his parents for being why he is in the NFL, even though he said growing up he played with a lot of guys who had more talent. An avid fisherman. His dad played some defensive back at Nicholls State. He's a guy who's so talented he could have gone to college on baseball or football. And you'll notice he used to wear 48. He wears 6 this year. I love this phrase. He wants the single-digit swag. Every year brings something new. I don't know that I've ever heard of single-digit swag before Patrick Queen. Rod, did you ever have single-digit swag?
Does the single-digit get you swag?
Apparently it does now. And it is intercepted as the Ravens will get the 2nd defensive turnover of the game. Taysom Hill threw it off the mark. And coming up with the pick is Geno Stone, a 2nd-year defensive back, a 7th-round draft pick last year, trying to make a name for himself in year number 2. And Rob, that's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, it's just the zone. He's sitting out there, and Hill just overthrows his receiver, and then tips and overthrows. You got to get those, and he caught it. And that's one thing you want to see when the DB touches the football,
it is.
you have to catch the football.
I'll tell you one other thing. They're also dealing with quarterback-receiver chemistry issues. So then, that's what happened on that play. That wide receiver came across, and the quarterback thought he was going to keep running into the zone. Instead, he stopped because he saw that defender. He threw the ball. That's you got to work together and clean those things up.
Kind of thing you would never see with Drew Brees at the helm in New Orleans. A little direct snap to Devin Duvernay on the jet sweep, and Duvernay taking it to the far sideline for a pickup of 3. So not pure vanilla in terms of the play calling.
No, it's, you know, I brought that up earlier. Once you get across that 50, you start to see little gadgets. There you go. You saw like a semi-reverse, and we'll see what they come back with here. Second down long.
Trace McSorley out of the gun. J.K. Dobbins to his left. 3 receiver set. 8 minutes even left in the opening quarter. Dobbins to the right, and not much room there. The Ravens will be looking at a 3rd down and 7. It's not that big of a surprise that the Ravens haven't gouged the Saints on the ground yet after a complete training camp of kind of juggling offensive linemen. We talked about that in the pregame. It's hard to have cohesion when you don't have the same 5 guys lining up every day.
That's right. It's really early. And a lot of the injuries have just occurred within the last few days. So some of these guys are in there for the first time working together with somebody that they hadn't been in with prior.
4 wide receivers. McSorley out of the gun. On 3rd down and 8, McSorley fires down the numbers. It's intercepted. Nope, they'll say it's dropped. Pass is incomplete, but a penalty flag is down. Paulson and Debo have the coverage. James Prochet on the target. And referee Clay Martin.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Pass interference. Defense number 29. Holding offense number 72. Those penalties offset at the previous spot. We'll replay 3rd down.
So that's kind of a classic preseason moment.
It was. It was a nice play, though, for that situation. They got 3rd down at about 8, it looks like, right there on that last one, and they tried to get the 1st down as opposed to the last one, you know, where they tried to run the draw and get the extra yardage. That was good. It was good. They executed. They get the 1st.
It was Jalen Moore who was the target. Prochet was actually open outside the numbers. So instead of a 1st down, it's a redo on 3rd down and 8. Trace McSorley will throw from the gun. Slings it near sideline. It is caught at the 38-yard line. And this one will be very close. Devin Duvernay, 2nd-year wide receiver.
This will be interesting what John does here, huh? Looks like he's going to hurry up. You think he'll try to draw them off sides? Or do you think he'll run a play?
It'll be 4th and about a yard. And the Ravens going no huddle. Sean Payton is forced to take a timeout. So who said coaches don't play gamesmanship here in the early days of preseason? John Harbaugh going no huddle, forcing Sean Payton to burn a timeout in the early game, going into the game. So yes, guys, it's on.
It is, but I love the throw from McSorley because he threw it to the outside shoulder. The DB was right on the inside shoulder. He threw it outside shoulder, throwing him open. Most young quarterbacks would throw it back inside and give the opportunity to make that breakup for the defensive back. But for him, you see right there, you see where the DB's at. He's working inside out. He throws it to the outside shoulder, gives the receiver an opportunity to catch it and get up the field for the 1st down. So that's a positive for him, Coach. So it's working in his advantage moving forward.
That's a great point, Rod.
And with Devin Duvernay getting a lot of time in training camp filling in for the injured Hollywood Brown, we thought we'd see a lot of Duvernay this preseason in the slot, but he's been out wide. And he comes up with a big catch, sets up a 4th and 1. Power formation. Give us a J.K. Dobbins hit, stop short, and he won't get the 1st down. Caden Ellis breaking through the line to stop the Ravens, and they will turn it over on downs. And we remain scoreless with under 7 minutes to play in the opening quarter. The preseason opener on the Ravens Game Day Network. Scoreless here in the 1st quarter. Strong start for Wink Martindale's defense as his group has already forced 2 turnovers, Mike.
Yeah, I tell you, Wink's looks that he gives you are very stressful looks. And the quarterback, you can see there's a lot of uneasiness in the pocket, just like the interception that he threw. That was a miscoordination between the quarterback, and the receiver on that play. And a lot of it, again, it's that nervousness. He's thinking, is there a guy coming free to hit me? So he gets rid of that ball a little sooner than he had. But nonetheless, that receiver should have kept running.
Rod, it's what you said earlier, right? With Wink Martindale, pressure breaks pipes.
It definitely does.
Taysom Hill will take the deep drop to throw on first down. Hits his back out of the backfield. Devontae Freeman. And Freeman taken out of bounds at the 46-yard line by Patrick Queen.
I mean, one thing I love about Patrick Queen, he can run sideline to sideline. And that's what the Ravens are known for. I mean, their backers always can run, and they always can get from sideline to sideline. He's that guy that fits the mold.
You played with a guy like that by the name of Ray Lewis.
Yeah, that guy wasn't bad.
How about Ray Lewis putting out a cameo video for Patrick Queen yesterday on Queen's 22nd birthday?
Did he really? Awesome.
Nice touch of legacy there. Devontae Freeman is wrapped up as he tries to test the right side of the Ravens defense. Adafe Owe crashing down on the edge. First tackle for the first-round draft pick out of Penn State. Rod, we had a chance to visit with this young man. He is physically impressive. Mentally, too.
He has all the tools in the toolkit. He really does. And now he's going to just learn how to keep playing inside of this system. And he's going to have to play like a Raven. And I think if he learns how to play like a Raven, he'll be an all-pro.
Puts the Saints into a 3rd down and 4. Taysom Hill, blitz pressure coming. Hill lobs it over the middle. It is caught in midfield. And that's Anthony Averett with the tackle, but not before the Saints are able to move the chains. In talking with Wink Martindale, he was really high on Anthony Averett.
He has the skill sets. He has really good feet. And one thing I really look for when I look at a DB is like change of direction. He does a really good job in short area quickness to stay connected to the receiver. Just like that, even though it was a contested catch, nevertheless, he was right there.
Averett getting a lot of extra reps with Jimmy Smith suffering a foot injury in training camp. Quick dive goes nowhere for the Saints. They'll be looking at a 2nd down and 10. 5 minutes even left here in the opening quarter. Jerry Sandusky, the Hall of Famer Rod Woodson, the coach Mike Nolan with you here as we get preseason underway. And this early part of the preseason playing out very much like what we've seen in training camp. The defense is all over it, and the offense is still finding its way because of the injuries that have plagued this unit on the offensive line, wide receiver. Lamar Jackson not playing tonight. Taysom Hill on 2nd down off the play fake. Throws it at the numbers. It is picked off by Anthony Averett.
Did he not catch
And
it?
Averett must think he didn't catch it, and Averett is right. Well, you got to teach that young guy to sell it better because it looked like he had the pick.
Well, they got cameras now.
He slammed the ball to the turf in frustration, so...
But this is this short area quickness. He puts his foot in the ground, and he comes back for it. He didn't catch it, but this is what you're looking for from your corners, to make those type of aggressive plays toward their point of attack.
Give him some honesty points. And on 3rd and 10, Taysom Hill to throw. Throws underneath coverage, and another Saints first down. As Latavius Murray takes the reception and stretches it down to the 38-yard line where Anthony Levine brings him down. In the regular season, Wink would be, Mike, I would imagine as a former defensive coordinator, pointing that out in film study. You can't give up a first down on 3rd and 10.
That's right. You know, one of the things that happened right there was when they play zone, they typically play spot, drop, react to throw because they get so much pressure on the quarterback. And if he gets it off, that's a little bit what happens. You're just not there in time to deny the ball.
Devontae Freeman running along the left hash mark will only get about 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 from the 37.
Just for information, there's another way to play zones, and you'll hear people use the term match, and they'll play a 3-deep zone with a match concept. All it really is, it's still zone, but within your zone, you'll lock onto a player when they finally get to the final part of the route running. But initially, you're in a zone. So if you ever hear the match word with the zone, that's really the concept. One grabs it a little tighter than the other as the routes develop.
And as a rookie, you've got to learn all the stuff that you probably weren't exposed to in college. Screen pass, and it is broken up by Patrick Queen, who drops the receiver, Devontae Freeman. Rod, you look at the instincts of Patrick Queen. That kid looked like a veteran on that play.
Well, it looked like Ray Lewis. I mean, that he sniffs it out, he sees it, He puts his foot in the ground and he goes makes the play in space. And that's the type of middle linebacker that's been here with the Ravens for a long, long time.
And remember last year, Queen and all the other rookies did not get preseason to get those looks. They had to jump right into regular season and face the game plans of Andy Reid and Bill Belichick. So he's actually playing his very first preseason game. Third down and long. Taysom Hill under pressure. Flush from the pocket. Hit and drop back at the 47-yard line by Patrick Queen. Well, when Ray Lewis sent out his birthday wishes, Ray may have put some Ray mojo on this young man. Mark, what is Wink Martindale going to be thrilled about when he watches this tape?
Yeah, that's a heck of a play right there. But you can see he really doesn't have pass rush responsibility right there. He's just keeping that lineman with him so he doesn't go to block somebody else. But in the process, when the quarterback scrambled out of there, he came alive and made a heck of a play. Last two plays are really nice plays by him.
A 12-yard loss on the sack. And the Ravens defense, which has already forced 2 turnovers, almost a third, will get the ball back in the hands of the offense. Devin Duvernay is deep. Awaiting the Saints punt. Back up end over end punt. Duvernay will take for the fair catch. And the Ravens offense is back when we get back. 1:32 left to play. Scoreless in the opening quarter on the Ravens Game Day Network. Ravens fans, visit BaltimoreRavens.com to enter for a chance to become the Southwest Airlines Captain of the Game. You could win tickets to a 2021 Ravens home game, custom jersey, Southwest Airline rapid bonus points, and much more. Scoreless here in the final minute 32 of the opening quarter as Trace McSorley continues to run the offense. Defenses, as they usually are in the early stages of preseason, a little ahead of the offense. And because of injuries, we're not seeing the full complement of the Ravens wide receivers. But, Mike, as we take a look at what we hope to be the early season set we project, what can we expect from this group in the evolution of this passing game?
Well, I tell you, the first thing that comes to mind is really just they got to get together, and there's chemistry involved in any passing attack, and I think it's the most important thing aside from fundamentals, whether either quarterback how to throw the ball or receiver running around. Then you got to bring it together as chemistry, because when the quarterback's looking at you, believe me, it is that technical. He reads your body language, where you're breaking and where he wants to throw the ball.
And all of the reads on Rashad Bateman in training camp were A++. Justice Hill with his first carry of the night. And he is stopped at the 15-yard line. New wide receivers coach T. Martin has been bringing all kinds of new drills and emphasis and focus to this wide receiver group. I know he's frustrated at dealing with a lot of hamstring and groin injuries, but those are literally the growing pains for a unit that's trying to get into new territory. This has really never been an offense known for the passing game.
It has not, but bringing in Sammy Watson, you draft Bateman, you have players there to make some plays for you.
McSorley's pass is batted into the air at the line of scrimmage. Zach Vaughn got a hand on it. And the Ravens will be looking at a 3rd and long.
And we're talking about receivers, but let's not forget, I mean, Mark Andrews, one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. I mean, he's a key cog to this offensive passing game. So, yes, the receivers are there, but, you know, Lamar, when he really gets comfortable, he likes to throw to Andrews.
So, by the way, if you're wondering why we're not seeing Lamar Jackson tonight, he missed the first 8 days of practice. And I don't know that you want your starting quarterback behind a makeshift offensive line in August. Flags and whistle prior to the snap.
You know, I'm hopeful of this, but I hope McSorley's the one drawing them offside. That's the second time they've jumped on the opposite side of the ball. So if he's got the experience in his cadence.
Number 92, defense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's an easy 5 yards. He turned a 3rd down and 10 into a 3rd and 5. That was a nice job. And then right there he gets.
And it'd be really nice to have this guy back. I know Greg Roman's waiting, licking his chop to get Lamar Jackson back on the field.
But you watch here now. Those are 2 3rd down, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, where he hard counted and changed 1 to 5 and 1 to 3. That's a nice job by the quarterback.
And he gives him a very convertible 3rd and 3.
Yes. Just don't call a draw again.
McSorley going down the near sideline, and it's incomplete. He wanted James Prochet. Crochet was looking over his right shoulder. The ball sailed over his left. And the Ravens will have to punt the ball away. The one guy you don't want to see get a lot of work for John Harbaugh is the punter. We know what Sam Cook can do.
Oh, he's a heck of a punter.
Longest tenured member of this year's Ravens roster. Now in his 16th season. The only reason I know that is he was a rookie when I was a rookie. He's a play-by-play guy with the Ravens. Cook's punt taken by Winston at the 20. And he'll be wrestled down at the 29. Now, for years, we've had great consistency in the Ravens special teams as the Wolfpack was known. But this year, a new member, the long snapper, there on the right side of your screen is Nick Moore. Takes over from Morgan Cox, who's now a member of the Tennessee Titans. Justin Tucker, Sam Cook, and now Nick Moore. These guys are inseparable. But this is a group, Rod, that's all about timing.
Wolfpack?
Wolfpack. They used to call them the Wolfpack.
Shouldn't it be like the Raven Pack? Or?
Hey, I don't make up the nicknames. I just repeat them. But I did say to Justin Tucker, I said, hey, now they have a new long snapper. Don't you need a new nickname? So Ravens fans, hit us up on social media for what you think the new nickname should be for this trio on special teams. Led by Nick Moore. He touches it first as the long snapper.
Tyler in there, quarterback.
Jameis Winston in at quarterback for the Saints. He'll hand it off to Murray. The ball comes loose at the 35-yard line. And the Ravens have recovered their third turnover of the game. Inauspicious first play for Jameis Winston, who fell down on a handoff. And Chris Board comes up with a fumble recovery. The Ravens have their third forced turnover of the evening.
Coach, I think the one hard thing is that when you start playing in camp nowadays, they really don't play and hit live. So when they come out here and do live tackling, is it more emphasis for the running backs to hold on to the ball?
You know, you're right. You get limited exposure in training camp to those hits like they are. You try to create drills that make them, but right there, he's just carrying the ball pretty loosely right there. But they do make a nice job of going for the play. That's very impressive now to have 3 takeaways already in the first quarter.
Final minute of the first quarter. Justice Hill starts to the right, comes back to the left. And he'll scramble just to get back to the line of scrimmage. At the end of that last play, the one thing I did not like to see was Anthony Levine, the veteran safety, was limping to the sideline. So hopefully nothing serious there. We'll get an injury update as it becomes available. But Sorley to throw on second down. He's tripped up and dropped back at the 40-yard line. And that's going to bring us to the end of the opening quarter.
You noticed right there, they tried to catch him off guard. They jumped up. They went 4 vertical down the field. They were hoping to, if he just didn't push him into his feet right there and get that ball out, he's got a chance for a big play.
Instead, we'll have to wait for the second quarter to see if we can get points on the board. It's scoreless after quarter number 1 on the Ravens Game Day Network. Second quarter, we are scoreless at M&T Bank Stadium. Jerry Sandusky, the coach, Mike Nolan, the Hall of Famer Rod Woodson with you guys. By my count, the Ravens defense is on track for a 12-turnover game. Not a bad start.
Wing's going to love it. I love it.
Oh, I love it, too. I tell you, there's 2 things I think that from day one, you always teach. And one is hustle, effort, to the ball, every play finished. That's a Raven. And the other thing is takeaways. Those are Ravens. So when you said that earlier, we were talking about what a Raven looks like. Those are 2 things that have always been, taught here and really
emphasized. I mean, the Raven way on defense is that.
Yeah.
You either hustle to the ball, you live to that standard, or you don't play.
That's right.
And that gives Trace McSorley the ball at the Saints 40. McSorley under pressure, scrambles to the right, extends the play, and tumbles out of bounds with a short gain, but far shy of the needed yardage for a first down. What do you see in Trace McSorley's mobility?
I mean, really, you got to get the protection, first of all. He has to get the protection. He has to be able to sit in the pocket for a second. He wasn't even there. He didn't even let his feet get set before the pressure got to him, so he had to get out of the pocket.
Well, how about this? A 56-yard field goal try to start the preseason for Justin Tucker. Here's your new Wolfpack. Nick Moore with the snap. Sam Cook with a hold. And Justin Tucker from 56. Tucker's kick is on the way. It has the distance. It is through the uprights. Hello, Wolfpack number 2.
Wolfpack 2.0.
We saw Justin Tucker kicking pregame. He was hitting from 65 yards.
Okay, beautiful kick and really good protection as well. Nice protection.
August or not, nobody loves an applause quite like the performer, Justin Tucker. That kid loves a crowd.
But that's a comfort zone, Coach. I mean, you know you have your kicker that can kick that far away. I mean, that's good to go to.
You know, he's so good that he didn't have to drive that ball. If you notice, the Saints have a lot of tall people inside, and they were up high, and they were skying to get that ball. But he had so much lift on it, even at that distance, they couldn't get it because a lot of guys will drive that ball so they get the distance. It is blocked.
And you can bat it down.
And then they all block it. They blame it on the protection. When it's not the protection, and you drive a ball too low, it's going to get blocked.
He's the only kicker in NFL history who's hit more than 90% of his field goal tries. And as much as the Ravens want to expand the passing game, and that's going to be important, when you know you have Justin Tucker in your back pocket, that has to influence the way you call a game, right?
Well, it does, but it's critical that you get touchdowns. It's hard to win games in the National Football League kicking field goals.
Geico scoring drive, 7 plays, -3 yards, but it still nets 3 points with a 56-yard field goal for Justin Tucker. An unusual scoring drive, -3 yards, but it gives the Ravens the first points and the first lead of the preseason.
Going into the second quarter here, it'll be interesting who goes in the game. See if there's any, there might be some new bodies.
That's Jake Verity handling the kickoff duty. Easop Winston will return across the 20, and he'll be stood up by Anthony Averett at the 20-yard line. So you talk about guys like Anthony Averett, Rod, on defense, but a young player in this league, unless you are Rod Woodson, you better be able to play some special teams as well until you are an everyday part of that secondary like Anthony Averett is trying to be.
Well, first of all, Marcus Peters, Humphreys, those guys are playmakers, even Young. Avery, he's going to be one of those guys who can come in. He's that twitchy type player, and if he can learn from under the system, and it's an aggressive system that allows DBs to have confidence they can get pressure on the quarterback so they can put their foot in the ground.
I like the marriage of young corners and young edge rushers. It's Tony Jones Jr. breaking through, and he's across the 45 out close to midfield with the biggest play from scrimmage tonight yet for the New Orleans Saints, Geno Stone.
One thing that does happen at times when you commit as many people to the line of scrimmage as they do as the Ravens, if somebody does hit a crease, you could be in the situation that you just saw. Now, that wasn't necessarily what they were in on defense all the way, but nonetheless, that is a point to be made that if everybody's on that same plane and they split you, it's to the safety.
Wink doesn't look too happy either.
It's amazing how quickly coaches get a sour face even in a preseason game. I mean, it's like I said, it's game on. Once this thing starts, coaches are into it. Jameis Winston at happy feet. His pass is through the hands of his target. He was looking for his tight end, Nick Bennett. Well covered on the play.
I mean, the one thing I love about the Ravens coaches that, they take pride in their work. They really do. I mean, if you're as a coach are okay being average, then your players are going to be average. But if you take pride in what you do and you want to be excellent, then your players are going to want to be the same thing.
We just got to look at Anthony Levine. That's a good sign because he had limped off the field after the last series. 2nd down and 10. That's also why the Ravens have likely won 17 straight preseason games. Tony Jones, another big run. This time he's all the way down to the 35-yard line. He'll pick up 15 on the play. So a 28-yard run, a 15-yard run.
I mean, they're running that stretch. They're running that stretch, and they're cutting the backside. So, I mean, that's the backside defenders getting cut off somewhere.
Yeah, on the backside, the second-level player didn't follow the play into the B gap, and that's where it finally fell back to the backside. But everybody else was playing front side and actually attacking the line really well. It's just that backside defender didn't slide into the B gap.
Getting a look at Brandon Stevens, 3rd-round draft pick playing safety as Jameis Winston drops the throw. Under pressure, spun and ticking down at the 42-yard line. That's the rookie out of Notre Dame, Dalen Hayes, coming off the edge. As we take another look, Rod.
How good a play, though, or how good a story that Brandon Stevens had for us in the meeting, that he changed his own position in college. And he's a young player that everybody likes on his staff. And the way he spoke to us, he sounded like a 10-year vet. He really did. And what he did in college, telling his coaches, I know I was playing running back and I was in the rotation at UCLA. I want to change my position. I think I have a future, at playing DB. And I'm like, you change your own position. And he believed in himself, and he's here.
2nd down and 10. Jameis Winston down the middle, complete at the 20-yard line. And that'll give the Saints a first down on the reception to little Jordan Humphrey. As we get back to our red-hot player, it's Brandon Stevens, kid out of Plano, Texas. Rod touched on this. He played defensive back, cornerback, or rather running back for 3 years at UCLA. Walked on to SMU to become a cornerback. Gets drafted by the Ravens, and he becomes a safety. You wonder, how does a kid have that kind of mental ability? Well, check out his sister, Chelsea. She's a molecular biologist. So this family has some serious DNA going on.
Now, right now, as you notice out there, guys, he's playing nickel. So he's not only playing safety, he's playing nickel. So coming from running back, those are two distinctly different positions. It's, you know, that's a credit to him. He can handle both of those.
And Wink said that they wanted to try him at nickel to give him more depth there, and he believes that he's twitchy enough to play at that position, and obviously he's a willing tackler. I mean, he's built like it.
He sure is. He's 215 pounds, he told us. That's
solid. Yeah. I mean, he's a solid player.
Yeah.
Body language says a lot. When we were visiting with Wink Martindale early this week, as soon as we brought up Brandon Stevens' name, he lit up. He sees great things for this young man. 2nd down and 9 for the Saints in the Grill Mates red zone. And the ground game getting around the edge. Tony Jones to the 5, dives for the pylon. Waiting for the signal from the officials. Touchdown Saints. So Tony Jones with quite the drive. He had a 28-yard run, a 15-yard run, and now a touchdown run as we take another look.
You're going to see on the backside here whether it was number 30 Westry or the linebacker on the edge. One of those two players has to secure the edge. Now the coverage went to Westry on the inside receiver, so he could have been inside of the play. I can't read the number there, but anyway, inside that defensive end. I would guess that the defensive end was one responsible to save the edge on the backside, because that allows Westry to continue to track his coverage, which is the tight end. So as that tight end goes inside, he's going to get sucked inside, but somebody's got to stay on the outside, backside.
Yeah, I mean, Wink will make a, come tomorrow, Wink will make a definitely idea that you have to set the edge on the defense. We cannot allow people to get outside of us like that. They take pride in how they play defense here in Baltimore, and I know Wink is going to continue that tradition.
Touchdown stands from the replay booth. And so the Saints' extra point try is good. And with 11:38 to play in the opening half, the Saints have their first lead of the game, and they did it with the ground game. Tony Jones with the score, and the Ravens down on the Ravens Game Day Network. Don't miss the best players in the world when they return to the Baltimore area for the first time in 60 years. Enjoy all the excitement at Caves Valley in 2021 BMW Championship, August 24th through 29th. Visit bmwchampionship.com. The Saints with their first lead here in the preseason. We'll get a look at Devin Duvernay, see if he gets a chance to return the ball. Duvernay was the kick returner all last season. He took over kick and punt return duties in the latter part of the season, and he's been picking up a lot of extra reps at wide receiver this camp for the injured Hollywood Browns. So it's been a busy summer, and it will be a busy night and a busy August for Devin Duvernay.
The more you can do, the longer you can stay around.
This one should be returnable. Duvernay at the goal line, brings it across the 10. Looking for a gap at the 20. He wrestled down at the 24-yard line. Well, we talked about expanding the impact of the passing game, but don't overlook the impact of this run game. The #1 rushing game in the NFL a year ago. Look at the numbers put up in that backfield last year, and we'll start with Lamar Jackson. Only quarterback in NFL history to rush for more than 1,000 yards. Gus Edwards said he'd like to be a 1,000-yard rusher this year. J.K. Dobbins, he wants to be a 1,000-yard rusher. Guys, do we have the first team ever to have 3 1,000-yard rushers on the same team? Because if you get that in the running game, is there anything left for the passing game?
That's a great point. That would be my question. But you got to think, I mean, they rush for almost 192 yards a game. A game? That sounds like college. So to do that in the National Football League at a high level against the best of the best in the world, you've got to take your hats off to Greg Romans and the offensive line and the running game, and it all starts with those number 8.
Justice Hill limited to a 1-yard gain, and what we're seeing here is the value of an offensive line. Mike, I'll get your thoughts after this play. It is a unit, and when you have to plug individual players into different positions, it's tough to get that cohesion that we have seen from the Ravens the last couple of years. A little inside handoff. And that won't net much yardage.
It is very important to have the big cohesive unit and all that, but the only way you're going to get it is just like we're doing tonight. You got to get out there and you got to play just like practice. And with the injuries that they have had, there'll be some guys that may not get quite the work that they need going into the season, but I believe it will just get better and better with time throughout the season, like it always does.
Saints player injured on that last play, Tano Pasanya, former Kansas City Chief. John Harbaugh has certainly dealt with enough injuries so far in his training camp. Ravens injury areas of note have been the offensive line as well as the wide receivers. We'll let the Saints medical staff take a look and step aside. 7-3 Saints lead at second quarter on the Ravens Game Day Network. 10:48 to play in the opening half. 7-3 Saints in front of the Ravens. It's been a slow night for the offense, but Wink Martindale's defense has been all over it. Guys, what stands out to you as you look at the recap?
Well, for me, what stands out is the turnovers. I mean, there's no question. When you've got 3 turnovers in the first quarter alone, that's a heck of a deal. So that's always going to be number one. The more you get the ball defensively, that should be the most, other than points, that's the most important statistic. Getting the ball back to your offense. That is points number 1 and takeaways number 2.
Yeah, seeing them play to the standard that they had here for so long, but then watching Queen kind of shine. He looks like the middle linebackers that have been here before, right? And we're all talking about, you know who, Ray Lewis. I'm not saying he's Ray Lewis, but I'm saying he's flashing today. Last year had no OTAs, had no training, no training camp. This year he had it. He looks so much faster, so much better tonight than he did last year.
And as they peel the pads off of Patrick Queen, we can presume his night's work is done. On 3rd and 7, Trace McSorley, blitz pressure coming. He is drilled, but he throws a strike to the 42-yard line. Devin Duvernay will move the chains, and the Ravens have their first offensive first down of the ball game. And they're going to go no huddle here as they try to catch the Saints defense off guard. Wow, Trace McSorley took a hit. McSorley right back up top, and James Crochet on the receiving end moves the ball out to the 50-yard line, and the Ravens are going to stay no huddle here.
Well, I like them staying in a no huddle. It gets him in a rhythm, lets him throw the ball, let him get in the rhythm. And normally when you get in a no huddle, the defense goes to a little smaller defensive package.
If you notice on that play really quickly, this referee stayed over the ball. That's because the Ravens substituted a player. Although they're in the huddle, they substituted a player. That has to give the defense every right to get lined up properly.
And they line up properly. Tyson Williams gets the first down as the Ravens move the chain. Let's go back and take a look at this hit by Trace McSorley. He knew he was going to get drilled and stood in there.
I tell you, it was pretty good protection for the most part, but you're exactly right. The courage on his part to stay in there and throw it, that's what you're looking for.
And that's where you get respect from your teammates.
Yeah.
When you get hit like that, you stick in there and you get hit and you get up. You're like, yeah, that's my guy. I like that.
You step into a throw with a guy coming right in your face, you're exactly right.
Sorley operating from under center. Off the play fake, deep drop, looking left, firing to the far sideline. He's got Jalen Moore on the reception inside the 30-yard line. And the Ravens offense is getting into gear now. And Trace McSorley is going to keep the car running, no huddle, after a 17-yard pickup.
I like that play call. That was out and up, hitting that little dead area against the defense.
McSorley again down the far sideline. He's got a man, just led him too far. He had Jalen Moore a step behind the defensive back, but Trace McSorley put it about a yard too far. For the radio partners on tonight's simulcast, we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Ravens Game Day Network. And for our TV viewers, a reminder, this is a simulcast, so if you are watching the game right now and have to run some errands or go over to a friend's house, just put us on the radio. We'll go with you. We're going to keep you company all throughout the preseason. 2nd and 10. And again, McSorley draws the Saints offside. Mike, I think your instinct might be here. He might have an Aaron Rodgers hard count.
He is doing one heck of a job. Now, it has been the same player 2 out of the 3 times. I've noticed that.
Come on, Dojo. Dojo, man. Just don't jump offside.
96 defense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
How many times does the defensive line coaches say, Dojo, man, don't jump offside? He's going to give it to you. Hut.
But see, that's a coach's eye to notice it was the same guy, because Mike's ready to cut that kid already on the Saints roster.
That's not true. I won't cut him. That guy's a good player. Oh, what happened here? They have 12 in the huddle. Maybe. Let's see what's up. Oh, I thought he threw. Oh, he's throwing the flag back.
Picking it up.
He's throwing the flag back to the official. Okay.
Second down and 5 from the Saints 23. McSorley with Tyson Williams in the backfield. Crochet goes in motion. Pass is complete to the 20-yard line. And Devin Duvernay with a busy night comes up with another reception. Go back to that previous throw to Jalen Moore.
Yeah, that was just a scissors go route, hitting the sideline, hitting that dead area against the defense in a 3-deep look, and that was, I mean, he threw it on the money.
The thing I want to focus on is what you guys were talking about, outside the numbers. That's the area of growth the Ravens want in this passing game. So even though we're not seeing Lamar Jackson, we are seeing that emphasis of the passing game outside the numbers. 3rd and 1, power formation. Williams carrying to the right side, second effort. That kid just churned his way close to a first down, and he's going to move the chain. Tyson Williams, that's all on him.
That's just good play by that linebacker in their scrape. And they've got an extra player on the back end coming in because the offensive line did a nice job on the double team. They got pushed. They drove him out of there. They got the kick out block. But they had an extra defender that came down the box with the 8-man. So he's the guy that made a sure tackle.
Don't these defensive players know the running backs can squat like 500 pounds around here?
Because that was a piggyback ride.
It was.
McSorley lob to the end zone, far side, incomplete, but that looked like a takedown. It was the rookie, Tylan Wallace. Yep, Tylan Wallace, who was the target. Paulson Adebo. Rod, you put on a referee cap here for a second. Tell me, is this interference?
Oh, it's so hard. I'm a DB, so
you know,
I let the DBs play. I think that was a clean play. They're fighting. They're chicken. You know, they're chicken fighting down the field, but I think that's a clean play.
I thought at first it was an uncatchable ball, but the more you watch it there, it's pretty close.
So if Rod had been a wide receiver, he'd have thrown 2 flags.
I would have just, you know, kind of Randy Moss'em.
Screen pass goes to Justice Hill, makes the bobbling catch, and scrambles forward. A late flag thrown from the near side.
Looked like a illegal man down the field.
And referee Clay Martin huddling with his crew. And he's looking at the Saints sidelines. And the preliminary signal is illegal receiver downfield.
Yep.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
All part of training camp and preseason. The timing of when a lineman knows to release. You go too soon, you get the flag. Because you're too far downfield.
And they have a window, you know, 3 or so yards down the field. I mean, it didn't look like he was that far. I thought he was in that buffer.
McSorley scrambles to his right, tries to extend the play. Now he'll tuck and run, and is spun out of bounds after a short gain. The 18-yard line. It'll set up a 3rd and long.
Joe, how about it? What do you think? A little don't jump off sides? What do you think, Rod?
Well, he's going to try to get him to jump off sides. So we want the Saints to jump off sides.
Definitely will. I'm looking for a hard count.
I mean, he's done it 3 times.
He's 3 for 3. At least the ones we can see. He had a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8, 2nd and 10.
And the guy who's done it twice already is still out there. Here it is.
On 3rd and 11, McSorley under pressure, scrambles to the left. He's got room. A flag is down.
You saw that.
Trace McSorley shouldered out of bounds. A late flag thrown. That might be a late hit, which will be an offsetting penalty to the hold on the Ravens. So best case scenario is a do-over, which I don't believe is a technically accurate term, but you get the idea. The phrase do-over does not appear in the NFL rulebook.
I can see that. That's very descriptive.
This will be a long conversation because you have flags on both the offense and the defense.
Did he hit him too hard on the sideline?
He hit him out of bounds. He was already out of bounds.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
In the NFL, if you're a quarterback and you get within a whisper of the sideline and somebody hits you, that's definitely a flag.
But
if you're a star,
he wasn't out of bounds though.
But he's a quarterback. If he's a running back, that's not a penalty.
Foul on the play for a late hit out of bounds. Holding number 65 offense. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Rod's all over this. We're going to give Rod a white cap. John Harbaugh's not happy with it.
I have my glasses on, so I can see a little bit.
Now, here's an interesting situation. They got a third down and very long at the 25-yard line. Do you improve your field goal with a screen or something like that, or do you try to get the first down the field? We'll see what they'll try to do here.
I'm hoping they're aggressive. I'm hoping they're throwing the ball down the field to see what he has.
Yeah.
See if he can see the window, fit the ball into a tight window.
A good thing about that call is if it's not there, then you can check it down and get the same that you get from the screen.
Yes.
The go-to guy has been Devin Duvernay. 4 receptions so far in the opening half, but sorely out of the gun. Saints rush 4. They go screen. Justice Hill sidesteps one tackler, but is spun down at the 25-yard line. So it will be the field goal team.
See, I'd like to have seen them do what you said, Rod. Get it down the field and then go to that little outlet.
Because now you're separating you're underneath droppers. They're a little deeper if you're going to get people vertical on the back end.
You're giving your quarterback an opportunity to make a big play.
You are, and then you're giving your running back more space to make a move.
Now, this will not be Justin Tucker. It's Jake Verity, a free agent tryout. Ravens have had a lot of success landing backup kickers around this league. Verity from 42. Kick is on the way, and it is good. Verity, I believe, is Latin for truth, and the truth is that kid's got a leg. 5:31 left in the opening half. Now the Ravens get their second field goal, make it a 1-point game. It's Saints 7, Ravens 6 on the Ravens Game Day Network. Jake Verity with a 42-yard field goal makes us a 1-point game. Rod and I and Mike were discussing during the commercial break, if you are a free agent kicker, why do you try out for the Ravens? Because Justin Tucker's got the job. The reason is there is a history of not beating out Justin Tucker, but kicking with him, learning from him, and landing with another team. Will Lutz was an understudy to Tucker, landed with the Saints, went to the Pro Bowl. It was Kerry Vedvik a couple of years ago, who the Ravens traded to the Vikings. John Harbaugh under Eric DeCosta fleeced the Vikings for a 5th-round draft pick. Graham Gano was an understudy to Justin Tucker. So Jake Verity is hoping to deliver a few of those kind of kicks because not every team has a Justin Tucker.
Well, not every team has a person's name that, is Latin for truth.
Amen.
Either. So
Verity unto ye, I shall say. See if Jake Verity gets to test out his leg strength. High, good-looking kick, and that one will be taken 5 yards deep out of the end zone by Dwayne Washington, who is drilled at the 20-yard line. And that's the rookie tight end, Ben Mason. And down to the field, Evan Washburn standing by with Ravens running back J.K. Dobbins.
Jerry, thanks. Yeah, here with second-year running back J.K. Dobbins. J.K., just first of all, impressions being back out on the field. These are more fans than you played in front of since you've been a pro. What was it like?
It was great to get back out there. Having the fans out there added some energy, memories, all that stuff. So it's great to have the fans back, man.
What are your priorities as an offense coming into 2021? A lot of moving pieces, I know, early in camp, but when this thing's right, what's it going to look like?
Man, you're going to see a physical offense, a bunch of guys, a bunch of playmakers, and then it's going to see a hungry offense and a hungry team. That's what I feel like you're going to see.
How about for you personally? You get a taste of it last year, you make some plays, but you're going to be asked to do more this year. You're the lead back.
Yeah, so, that's what I dream of, man, being a starting running back in the NFL. And my thing is that I want to be one of the greatest. Starting and being the guy is great, but I want to be great, and hopefully I can do better than what I did last year.
When you look at what Lamar's brought since he's been back, since his time away, what have you seen from him now in year 4?
I see a guy that's hungry, a guy that wants a Super Bowl, and a guy that's going to come out this year and tear it up. I think he's going to be better than MVP Lamar.
Wow, that's a high standard. When your defense has 3 takeaways in the first quarter, what kind of luxury is that for an offense?
You can always count on the Ravens D. They always be good. Always going to take away the ball, and we got some playmakers on the defensive side of the ball as well.
Lastly, just the personality of this year's version of the team. How would you best describe it? As the defense makes another play.
The personality of this year's team, I'm gonna keep saying that hungry word. A bunch of guys that's hungry for a Super Bowl now.
Always great to see you, JK. Best of luck the rest of the way, man.
Yes, sir.
Later. Jared?
For our radio partners, thank you very much, Evan. For our radio partners on the simulcast, quick recap there. Jameis Winston incomplete, a 1-yard run, and then the rookies, the glimpse of the future, Adafe Owe and Brandon Stevens with a vicious sack on Jameis Winston. The future looks bright.
It is. I mean, these are young, talented players playing in a real aggressive defense.
And playing aggressively. James Prochet on the punt return for the 45, crosses midfield, and is taken down at the Saints' 43-yard line. So great field position. Back to that defensive play as J.K. Dobbins was sharing his lofty goals. Love the fact that, Mike, he doesn't just want to be a starter. He wants to be a star.
Yeah, that's very true. Look, down there, like you just said, we saw some of the young guys down there on the other side doing their thing as far as rushing and all. I really felt watching him in practice. I'm talking about Brandon Stevens now, I'm sorry, but, you know, getting him in
Brandon Stevens is going to be a player. J.K. last year, he started slow, and it just seemed like, and he didn't hit the rookie wall. I thought he got better as the season went on. I think he's going to be a legit running back in the National Football League for quite a long time.
Your number 2 for Jacalyn is his first name. Here's Justice Hill.
Jacalyn? I didn't know that.
Jacalyn.
I just thought it was J.K.
Everybody thought it was like John Carl or something. No, Jacalyn.
I just thought it was initials. I just thought it was J.K.
But that. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, we do.
Justice Hill with a 3-yard gain on first down. 3:30 left in the opening half. Ravens trail by a point. Tonight's Ravens Game Day Network is presented by Geico. Trace McSorley at the helm here throughout the first half. He wants to throw on second down. Hit, and a wobbler came out as his arm was hit on that play. He was looking for Josh Oliver. Haven't really touched on this too much. We'll develop this throughout the preseason, but John Harbaugh very much has an eye on that third tight end position and who he wants to go with. Oliver had a couple of games experience with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Harbaugh and company gave up a 7th-round draft pick conditional in a trade for Josh Oliver. Eric Tomlinson is a veteran blocking tight end. It's really going to come down to what John Harbaugh and his staff want in that third spot. You got a great receiver, you got a great blocker 1 and 2. What do you want at number 3 on third down? Trace McSorley's pass goes through the hands of Devin Duvernay. Some smoke on that throw.
You're exactly right when we're talking about the tight ends, because they have some choices. They have the one that can block, the one that is more of a receiver. They've got one that's kind of multi-purpose but inconsistent. It'll be a tough decision, no question. And then you've got Mason, who kind of falls into that a little bit. He's not a tight end, but do you have 2 fullbacks? Who in the NFL has 2 fullbacks on their roster? So then you can also start to get into special teams. Who contributes the most in that area?
And there's 1 and 2. Mark Andrews leading the way. Johnny Townsend comes on to punt. Sam Cook's night of work is done. Johnny Townsend going to drop this one into the end zone for a touchdown. Well, we saw that rookie combo, Adafe Owe and Brandon Stevens delivering a sack. For each sack made by the Ravens during the 2021 season, Constellation, America's energy choice, will send one group of students to visit the Power Up exhibit at the Maryland Science Center. To learn more, visit BaltimoreRavens.com/sacks for science. So we've seen a couple of sacks by this Ravens defense tonight. Rob, this is classic Ravens defense.
It is. I mean, it's what I love about Don Martindale. I mean, he likes pressure. He likes putting 8 in the box. He likes trying to confuse quarterbacks and offensive line. But the one thing I love about him is that they all play with great effort.
The young guys, Owe and Stevens, picking up right where you would expect the veterans to leave off. Jameis Winston's pass along the near sideline ruled incomplete. Chris Westry had the coverage. The target on that play. Chris Hogan was looking for a penalty flag. None forthcoming. Just under 3 minutes of play here in the opening half of the preseason opener. The Ravens defense has been stellar. Shy of that one drive where they gave up 3 long runs that netted the Saints the only touchdown in this game. Ravens points have come from the kickers, Justin Tucker and Jake Verity. L.J. Fort now in an inside linebacker. There is a battle very much going on between L.J. Fort and Malik Harrison for that spot next to Patrick Queen. It's been Harrison throughout training camp. The ground game for the Saints. L.J. Fort makes the stop after a short 2-yard gain. Mike is a former defensive coordinator. I know you want as many guys as possible inside and outside of that second level of the defense, especially with the kind of the aggressive defense Wink Martindale plays. You got to have a lot of fresh legs to be cycling in there.
That's a great point. You definitely have to get in shape, but the way they practice, I think, puts them in good shape for that same thing. And then when you're really good, you're not on there in the field other than maybe 3 or 4 plays when you get off, so you keep fresh legs. It's those long drives that really wear guys down.
Jameis Winston on 3rd down, throws across the middle. He's got a man at the 40-yard line out to the 48. That's Ty Montgomery, the veteran wide receiver, on the reception. And that will move the chains and bring us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play here in the opening half at M&T Bank Stadium. The preseason opener. It's the Saints 7, the Ravens 6 on the Ravens Game Day Network. 2 minutes left in the opening half. Saints lead the Ravens by 1 on what has turned out to be a very beautiful night at M&T Bank Stadium. We sidestepped the scorching heat as things have started to cool down. We missed the thunderstorms that were projected, and we are setting up what should be a very interesting second half. We've got a lot to share with you, including taking a look at the Ravens under the lights. 5 primetime games for this team coming up, as well as a pair of moms who got a gift of a lifetime from their sons, who were more than happy to share with their success with the parents that made it happen. That's all coming up in the second half tonight. Jameis Winston on 1st down, throws a straight down the middle, inside the 25 down to the 20-yard line, and the Saints are knocking at the door as Jawan Johnson moves the chains with a 33-yard gain.
I mean, when they're running verts and you're in a 3D look, one of those guys is open.
And verts, for those of you who did not play in the NFL, vertical passes just deep right down the field.
Deep, what they call 999s. You got 4 guys going vertical.
A 9 route is a straight takeoff.
Straight takeoff.
So now you can go to the next cocktail party and drop verts and 9s, and you will seem like you are an NFL expert. Hey, Rob Woodson taught you all about it. Quick toss complete to the 15-yard line. Chris Hogan comes up with the catch, and a timeout will be taken by the Ravens, stopping the clock with 1:14. So Wink Martindale trying to use a teaching moment, I would think, for the young players he has on the field. The guy you're looking at on the television screen is Chris Board. He is one of their top 4 inside linebackers. So don't think these are just all free agents and long shots. These are some players who are going to be very much part of Wink Martindale's plans. And he wants to use these situations. Rod, I know you've practiced a million times situational defense. Mike, you've taught this. These are those moments where the coaching staff tries to take what you've worked on in training camp and bring them to life.
Yeah, you're down in the red zone too. This is one of the key situational defenses in the ball game. And so right here where we're at, this is nice. And you're also within a 2-minute, but that doesn't really affect us so much. You're going to see red zone passing.
Dalen Hayes brought sack pressure earlier in the game. Jameis Winston wants to throw. His pass is complete to the 10. And stepping out of bounds with a 1st down is Tony Jones.
Yeah, it gives you a little flavor too of what the Ravens plan to do in the red zone. I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to pressure? Are they going to not? And so right there, obviously they did not. They just used the press out to the sideline.
And looked like they were playing a little cover 4. I mean, that time there was 4 across. The 2 safeties were high. And anytime you go 4 across high, then you isolate number 2. So now that he has to make sure, and those are easier throws going outside to those number 2 receivers, which we saw there.
Jameis Winston from under center. Looks to the right, fires to the back of the end zone. He's got a man for a touchdown. And coming down with a reception is little Jordan Humphrey, which I would imagine will make big Jordan happy.
Now they were in a man-free coverage right there. I don't know what pulled the free safety out of the post, but something pulled him out because obviously that's where the ball was completed. But they did. Everyone was locked down. They just got beat one-on-one in the coverage.
Anthony Averett was the defensive back closest to the ball, which does not mean he was at fault, unless you know what the coverage was. He had pretty strong coverage, but Jameis Winston delivers the strike, and the Saints with their 2nd touchdown, a 7-play, 80-yard drive in just under 2 minutes. Extra point try is good. As we go back to take a look at that last play, it was Anthony Averett who had what looked like pretty close to wallpaper coverage. Break it down, Coach.
Let's see what we got. Yeah, like I said, you've got man-to-man. Now, you got to be a little tighter down there on that. He was on him at the end, but he should be a little tighter getting across. Now, the thing that could be happening is, like I said, the early part of the down, there was a post safety in the middle, and I don't know what pulled him out of the post, because typically the way he was playing, it looked like he was having somebody that was going to stand in the middle of the field, give him a little body. So it could have been a bust, but not necessarily.
A lot of times what you see with younger players is that they still play vertical in the red zone. And the red zone, especially when you get to the goal line, it's more horizontal. So they should be sliding, getting underneath, and make them throw between you and the backside end zone. And if quarterbacks can do that, they win, you're good with that. But when you're on the top side still in the end zone, that's kind of that's a cardinal sin, so to speak, in the defensive backfield.
So the young guy's still thinking 9-round vert.
Yeah.
And he needs to think horizontal, sideline to sideline.
Yeah, definitely horizontal.
Devin Gray is deep. Will take this kick out of the end zone. The rookie free agent crosses the 15 and runs into a wall of Saints at the 20, and that leaves 1 minute and 2 left on the clock here in the opening half. Trace McSorley very likely will close out his night here at the end of the first half, and then we will see Tyler Huntley in the second half. This backup quarterback, Mike, coaches and GMs, front office, they got to decide not only which guy's the number 2, but do you keep 2 or 3? We touched on this at the start of the broadcast. If you release one of these guys, you got to get him through waivers. You might lose him to another team like the Packers lost Taysom Hill.
If they're real close in grades and how you see them, you really don't want to let either one of them go. But if there's a distinct 1 and a distinct 2 and 3, then you can.
And that is intercepted at the 40-yard line of the Saints. Trace McSorley picked off by Bryce Thompson. He was looking for Devin Duvernay along the sideline. At that time, the ball sailed closer to the numbers, and it was intercepted. So Trace McSorley, if that is the last pass he has of the night, it's one he regrets mightily. Because when you are in a backup quarterback battle, the last thing you want to have on the stat sheet is an interception.
Yeah, anytime a quarterback is throwing a deep go to the outside receiver, he has to throw it outside the red line. Now, there's no red lines here on the playing field, but in practices, you'll see red lines probably about 5 yards to the sideline. He has to throw it outside of that. So if it's a middle field safety, he has to really get on his horses to get out there. When you throw it inside of that, it's so much easier for that safety to get there, just like we saw.
In a perfect world, that ball's right on the sideline, and your guy's got a chance to go up for it, and if not, safety takes it out of bounds. It's incomplete.
Jameis Winston, under a minute to go, and he's coming deep near sideline. He's got a man. It's deflected, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 15-yard line. Geno Stone along the sideline, steps out of bounds at the 25. A late penalty flag, a pair of late flags. We'll see if the Ravens' 4th defensive forced turnover of the half holds up.
Yeah, it was after the interception.
I'm curious if watch the block on the wide receiver, because he's a defenseless player. Let's see if that's possibly what happened. No, that's not it at all.
I think it was. I think when
he got up.
I think when Stone got up and peeled back, I think he made a block.
There's Clay Martin with the verdict, our referee tonight.
After the interception and during the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block. Baltimore, number 28. Penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. First down.
There it was. Okay. Yep. Oh.
Yeah. I get the rule, because the rule does state you can't go back toward the sideline opposite of where the ball carrier is going. But I'm sorry, that's not a good call.
That's a tight one. That is the rule, though. It will be called like that. Now, one way you get away from it is you just open it, you put your arms out, and you just put your chest on. That's all. But you don't block them. You know what I mean? You just let them.
You can't forcefully blocking. Just stay there and let him run into you.
So if he runs into you, they'll foul.
Fine. You're fine.
Yeah, you'll see guys a lot practicing now where they run down and they'll just turn their backs and slide with their arms in the air to block somebody, which is what you got to do there to stay out of trouble.
Ravens take possession, and J.K. McSorley rather gets another chance with the offense. Quick screen, won't get far after the 15. Trace McSorley, after the interception, he wanted another shot.
Here's the time.
Clock is running, 28 seconds remaining. The Ravens have 2 timeouts. They'll go hurry up. McSorley out of the shotgun. Little swing pass to Tyson Williams. Sidesteps the tackler. Now he's got to get out of bounds, and he does out close to the 30-yard line. That stops the clock with 13 seconds left in the half. A 15-yard gain.
Like that open field move.
Yeah. I wish they'd used that timeout on that prior play, though. There was 28 seconds when they got back in there, kind of, because with 13 here, they're just trying to get in field goal range. They need to get up here to the 40 or so on the opposite side, so they've got a good 30, 40 yards to go, and then call time. At 13 seconds, you're only got time for one play. You're gonna have a timeout on the clock.
Ravens send 4 out in the routes. McSorley will keep it on a run, crosses the midfield stripe, gets out of bounds with 6 seconds left. Now this is a difficult spot because you're trying to practice a regular season scenario. It's still too far for a field goal, although I'm sure Jake Verity would happily. You know, Justin Tucker would volunteer if this were the regular season.
Yeah.
But you're not going to try a 68-yard field goal attempt here in preseason. But you only have 6 seconds, so do you have enough time to get the ball in field goal range? You still have 1 timeout remaining.
He has time. He has to work the outside, though. Although he can call a timeout, so he can check right down.
I mean, he's timeout.
He's got to get rid of the ball, though. He can't hold it and look. Throw it.
Be a slant, right?
He's got to throw it.
McSorley throws quickly. He's got Jalen Moore down at the 34. The Ravens will take a timeout with 2 seconds remaining. Mikey called it.
Yeah. It's a very good job. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for John. If you notice right there, John Harbaugh did a great job. When that situation came up, he immediately got down right in the official's hip pocket so that the player doesn't have to be the guy to call the timeout right now. A good player would know that,
but look what
the head coach did.
I mean, he caught the ball. As soon as he caught it, he went down. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's great coaching on their part, but then great understanding on the players' part that it's situational football. We got to get down. We can call timeout. We can kick the field goal.
Yep.
Well, Jake Verity wants to make a name for himself around the NFL. Here's his shot. He'll have a 53-yard field goal attempt to end the first half. He hit from 42. Justin Tucker hit from 56.
Get some lift on the ball here.
Final play of the opening half. Jake Verity, a 53-yard field goal try. Clears the line, has the leg, and this kick is good. Jake Verity from 53 to end the half, and the Ravens head to the locker room, trailing the Saints 14-9. Trace McSorley threw the interception late in the half. He wanted one more shot at cleaning up the end of his night. He did a terrific job. Following the 4th defensive turnover, McSorley got out of bounds, got the Ravens into field goal range, and then Jake Verity, the rookie free agent, comes on and nails the 52-yard field goal at halftime. 14-9 Saints on the Ravens Game Day Network. Patrick Queen and the defense off to a tremendous start in the preseason. The coach, Mike Nolan, summed up Patrick Queen with one word. What was it, Mike?
Instinctive.
Well, that's what he did. As we take a look at the PMSI halftime stats in the first half, Rod, what jumps out at you?
Only the 40-yard rushing. You know, you think that this is going to be a train that's going to keep clicking. It's going to be a well-oiled machine. And they struggle. And so I want to see that improve in the second half.
Mike, your number of notes?
Well, the forced turnovers, we'll see if they can continue to do it in the second half. If they do, that's a good sign for the group that's in there, because it'll be a different group than that first group. So every group needs to play the same way if you want to be a Raven.
And as we turn our attention now to the second half, that means a quarterback change most likely. We will see Tyler Huntley. Guys, we saw Trace McSorley. What does Tyler Huntley have to do now, to Ron, I'll start with you, to take a little edge in what has been a neck-and-neck quarterback battle?
You got to make plays. I mean, in this league, to get on the field, you know, you got to show that they have confidence in you when you do have the opportunity to step on the field. You know that, Coach. You have to make plays inside of games. And then when you do it on a consistent basis, they have that trust factor in you, and they'll put you on the field.
So Tyler Huntley is ready to go as we head down to the field. Evan Washburn had a chance to check in with John Harbaugh. Evan, what were the coach's thoughts after the first half?
Well, his main takeaways were the takeaways. All those takeaways by the defense in the first 2 quarters. Also, really pleased with the situational football to end that first half. But priority number 1, defensively, have to be better against the run. Want to stuff those runs. They allowed 73 yards in that first half. And then for Tyler Huntley and really whoever's playing in this second half, it's all about finishing. Look, they're down now. They want to win this game. They got that undefeated record under Harbaugh, but it's about finishing these drives. That's the word that just kept coming up.
So as the coaches strategize for the second half, the Ravens will have the ball first to start the second half. And we will see Tyler Huntley after Devin Gray gets a shot perhaps at a return. Devin Duvernay had the early returns. His night is likely done. And now Devin Gray, the first-year player out of Cincinnati, trying to make a name for himself as Jake Verity did in the first half. May not be familiar with some of these guys, but don't lose sight of the fact that these are lifetime dreams on the line. Gray will take that one 2 yards deep, brings it out of the end zone. Across to the 15, to the 20, and taken down to the 23, and a late flag follows Gray to the turf. And that is not an auspicious way to open the second half of a preseason game with a penalty.
One of the things I like about this game today is both teams are trying to return as many kickoffs as they can. Now the kickoff teams are also putting the ball down there short inside the 5.
Receiving team number 21. 10-yard penalty, first down.
But there have been a couple balls back in the end zone and they brought them out. And that's, gives you a chance to work on the blocking, works on the timing.
Tonight's Ravens Game Day Network is presented by Geico. And the third quarter of our broadcast is brought to you by Safeway. As Tyler Huntley checks into the game. Huntley last year, an undrafted rookie free agent out of Utah. Played in the AFC divisional playoff game against the Bills. 6 of 13, 60 yards. He had a pass in that wild wind in that game that just went too far to Hollywood Brown. That could have easily been a long touchdown that could have turned the game around. But the could-haves, the should-haves, the would-haves don't show up in the record. So Huntley starting from under center. Ball is at the Ravens 11. Keep Ben Mason in motion. Tyson Williams will carry. And Williams will get it out to the 15-yard line. Pick up 2 or 3 on the opening play. Interesting to watch the rookie tight end as he tries to find his way. Ben Mason, drafted as a tight end, but really he's more of like an H-back fullback, isn't he, Mike?
He is, yeah, but he looks more fullback, like you said, than he does even H-back. H-backs at times have to put their hand on the line of scrimmage, but he's what you said he is. It's interesting. Right here, I expect a pass. This might be a play pass off this, but they got to, he's got to throw the ball some to see how how he holds up.
Play fake, goes to his left. Toss complete to the tight end. Oliver put the shoulder down and barrels his way forward out to the 26-yard line. That'll move the chains. So Rod, unlike the first half where the Ravens offense had to go all the way into the second quarter, a nice bit of momentum early on for Huntley to get a first down on the first possession.
Yeah, I mean, Greg Roman does a really good thing. The first pass for each quarterback is with his boot. Yep. Those are nice, safe passes. Get them out of the pocket. Most of these, all their quarterbacks are athletic quarterbacks who like to be out of the pocket. So he's listening to them. He's giving them opportunities to make plays.
Huntley out of the gun. He'll hand it off to Williams. Running along the right hash mark, gets a couple.
I think you'll see very much the same kind of plays as when McSorley started the game. Same thing. What I mean by that is you'll have very high percentage passes, whether it's a boot, an RPO, a screen, a 3-step, something of that nature in the passing game, and then you'll get your run. Now, we haven't seen very much RPO. As a matter of fact, I don't think we've seen any thus far, and very little option for that matter. Most of the gives that look like it a little bit are still just give calls.
Yeah, those plays that the Ravens live on come September. The read option, the RPO. That Huntley has been impressive with. He can run the identical offense that Lamar Jackson runs, and he has great arm strength. Hope to see some of that here. 5 wide receivers. Huntley's pass is complete to the running back Tyson Williams, taken out of bounds at the 30-yard line, so a short gain.
So there you go, like we said. You got a boot, you got a 3-step, you got 2 runs. When they get about midfield, something will change.
But even what's impressive with that is that even that throw, that little option for Williams, he threw it to the outside.
Outside the numbers.
Outside the numbers, but it was an outside shoulder taken away from the defensive back that was covering, or linebacker that was covering.
Ball placement. Completing it is only one part of the equation for John Harbaugh. For this passing game to grow, you guys have touched on this. You have to improve the accuracy of the throws as well.
Yeah, keep it away from the defender.
3rd down and 6. Bring a blitz. Huntley in trouble. He escapes to the left. He'll tuck and run. He's got a first down and more across the 45 and tumbles down to the 49-yard line. And that was Lamar-esque.
He looked just like Lamar.
You know what? You got to give
Lamar.
Yeah, you got to give him credit, though. He didn't get out of there with just one man in his face, and it was time to go. The pocket had broken down. He's got to go.
I need to see Lamar on the sideline. He better be on. I need to see his face because I think that's Lamar's playing right now.
17-yard escape, a first down for the Ravens. Huntley wants to throw. Has time. His pass is complete at midfield. Tyson Williams wrestled down after a gain of about 4.
It's a little bit far outside, but it was, again, away from the defender. You know, that's good by him reading the back and on the press out.
I mean, this is it's an impressive first drive for Huntley.
We talk about the backup tight ends. 2 of them come in here. Eric Tomlinson, who is a blocking tight end, as well as the rookie Ben Mason, who you have to think of as a blocker as well. Crochet and Duvernay split wide to the left. Duvernay comes in motion to the right. Give us to Williams, nowhere to go. And despite the big bodies blocking up front, the first-year back out of BYU loses a couple, and the Ravens will be looking at a 3rd down and about 8 on this opening drive of the 3rd quarter.
This will be real key here. I'll be really interested to see what kind of play he gives Huntley to get the first down. It's 3rd down and 8. He had it with McSorley, a couple situations of a 10 and an 8. McSorley jumped him off, had the defense jump. But that'll be interesting because he's either going to try to get the first or he's going to put it in somebody's hands for them to get the first.
I want to keep an eye on somebody here. Look to the far right. That's Tylan Wallace, the 4th-round draft pick. But the Ravens have done it again. They've drawn the Saints offside for a 4th time tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. Was he offsides?
Neutral zone infraction. Number 96, defense.
Yeah.
5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Even though he did the move, he doesn't have to really be in the neutral line as long as he because the offensive guy is acting as though he made him move. There's the penalty. If you make the offensive guy jump,
you have to be in the neutral zone. Well, if he jumps and he's not in the neutral zone, that's false start for the offense.
It was him, but he was in the neutral.
Yeah. I'm saying if he wasn't,
I would agree with you.
Cat, mouse. Advantage cat.
Oh, absolutely.
Again, 3rd and 3. Let's see what he gets.
Huntley will throw over the middle. It is bobbled and dropped. Josh Oliver was the tight end. We talked a minute ago about ball placement on the pass. That's got to go to the outside, right?
Yep.
He threw it back inside.
Yep.
He had to turn all the way back around to try to catch it.
I like the selection and call, though. I mean, he's trying to get the first. He wasn't trying to get greedy or nothing else. I mean, they got it down to 3rd and 3, and he threw the right play in there. And just got to throw that ball outside.
So a good start to the drive, but it runs out of steam at the Saints 46.
Those are the kind of things you want to be working on as a quarterback receiver as long as Lamar is out. If you're the backup guy, you want to try and get as much chemistry with those guys. If you want to win that backup job, you need that to be one of your strengths. You can't be just some guy that's just out there playing catch.
Fair catch on the punt made by Isam Winston. Saints ball when we get back. 9:51 to play 3rd quarter. Saints 14, Ravens 9 on the Ravens Game Day Network. It's easy to forget this is more than just a game for so many of the young men who put on the pads. 14-9. Ravens trail the Saints in the 3rd quarter this offseason. Ravens running back Gus Edwards signed a new 2-year, $10 million deal, and he bought his parents a new house. This is significant. His parents, Mamie and Saki, raised Edwards for the first 5 years of his life in a tin and concrete shack in Liberia. You think that didn't have some impact on that family? He has literally given his family a completely new life than the one that they all started with together. Very emotional. And then for Patrick Queen, him and his family also celebrating, as was Rashad Bateman. He bought his mom a house in Georgia. She worked multiple jobs raising Bateman and his siblings growing up. And he said this was dreams to reality as he gave his mom the keys to a new house. That's what this game can mean for a lot of these young men. On 1st down, the Saints go to the ground game, and the Ravens put it in the ground. Jalen Ferguson crashing off the edge, limiting the Saints to a yard on the play. New QB for the New Orleans Saints, and this will be Ian Book. Don't have much of a book on Ian. The winningest quarterback in Notre Dame history. How about that? 30 wins. I would have filed that one away. You're going to win $100 at a bar bet on that one. Everybody will say Joe Montana. It's Ian Book. Flag follows the running back to the turf after a yard pickup.
Well, it was Notre Dame.
And he's still wearing a gold helmet with the Saints, but I would have never picked Ian Book out of a short list.
I would have not.
This is going to be a penalty that backs the Saints up.
Personal foul. Chop block. Offense number 67 and 76. Penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. Second down.
Chop block's been around for a while, but this year, Sean Payton, John Harbaugh, all the coaches have to really focus their players on one of the new rules, and that is the illegal blocks outside of the tight end area, which is 2 yards to either side of the tackle, 5 yards either side of the line of scrimmage.
They can't block below the waist, which is great. I wish I was. That would have been great.
52 more years of your career.
They couldn't cut me.
Nothing below the waist, and that is a safety move.
It is.
On second and long, Ian Book throws complete to the 15 along the sideline, 30, 35, 40, and picking up a first down is Easop Winston, a rookie out of Washington State, who converts on a 2nd and 16.
Yeah, you got to believe that Wink right now is a little disappointed.
35-yard pickup. Sean Wade, one of the corners on the field. He is a draft pick. He's a tall kid, 6'1", plays long. Getting his first NFL game action here in the preseason opener. Ravens trail by 5. Whistle just at the snap.
False start. 79 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You can have training camp last 12 weeks until you get guys into a game. All that teaching isn't reality, whether it's John Harbaugh with young defenders giving up a 2nd and 16, whether it's Sean Payton and an offense that all of a sudden is dropping flags everywhere.
Well, because they say, coaches always got to go full speed, and they're going full speed for practice, but the game tempo is always a little different, and then the mindset's always a little bit different in the game than in practice.
And the pressure's a little different. Ian Book with time to throw. Now he has to escape to his right, extends the play, and throws a short completion to his tight end Tony Jones, who had a first half touchdown for the Saints.
That's the play that they ran earlier, and they got right down the seam for that 33-yard gain. It was a very similar play, but this time the player that was on that player squeezed him to the post, so he wasn't an open player for that quarterback to throw to. But you could see him sitting in that pocket staring that guy down with the middle closed. He was looking for that guy to bend in there and be open. That DB stayed right on him. So nice job by this group.
We were taking a look at Chris Smith, a 7-year veteran, former Raider, signed 2 days before training camp. Then he saw the Ravens sign Justin Houston. Screen pass complete. Jones, he crosses the 45, crosses midfield all the way down to the Ravens 43 before L.J. Fort can track him down. And not until the Saints move the chains on a 17-yard pickup.
And those type of calls are really good calls versus a hungry defense. They got young guys in there trying to make a name for themselves, so they're getting vertical. And then you get vertical, and they just come right behind you with a little screen like that.
You know what I always look for in screen, and Queen did an excellent job earlier, is that instinctiveness when everybody's going one way, because too many guys get tunnel visioned on what their coverage is or what their man is, and you got all these guys run one way or the other, and it doesn't register in their mind about what kind of plays being run. And a screen is one of those plays. It's a pass, and all of a sudden you got these linemen bailing out. I mean, it's a screen, but their eyes are so tunnel visioned onto something else.
False start. Number 86 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And that'll back the Saints into a 1st and 15. Third quarter of tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Safeway. Saints have held the lead since the second quarter. Want to ramp up the pressure a little bit on young players. All John Harbaugh has to do is remind them the Ravens have a 17-game preseason win streak going on. He's looking at young guys to extend that to 18. He's booked with a deep drop under pressure. Another screen complete to Jones. Near sideline 40. He steps out of bounds in front of Brandon Stevens. Mike, as you watch Brandon Stevens play in space, what do you see?
Well, first off, the first thing I notice is just his body type. He's 215 pounds. He's got a great core from his thigh up to his chest. He's really built very strong. That really typically makes a really good defensive back and a football player. But outside of that, I'm just watching his instinctiveness. I'm trying to see how he goes to the ball. When you played running back, obviously it's a different position, but he moves extremely well. I think he's got a huge upside myself.
Ian Book off the play fake. Stevens coming hard off the blitz, forces him, loses the ball out of bounds. They're going to say that he is sacked back at the 49-yard line. And as we look at Brandon Stevens, Ron, when we had a chance to talk to him, your jaw hit the table when he talked about voluntarily moving from running back to defensive back. Nobody makes that move.
No, I mean, he was at UCLA. He was in the rotation at running back. And he goes to the coach and goes, you know, I want to move the DB. And nobody ever does that.
No.
So I was shocked. But he knew something that the coaches didn't know, that he can make it to the league as a defensive back. And he looks tremendous. I mean, he's young. He's still learning the position. There's so much upside when you really start thinking about how good he can be.
Rod, you made the point earlier how much Wink lit up when we talked about him. As you watch this game right here, guys, you could see what Wink's doing. He's had him at safety. He's had him at nickel. He's blitzed 2 or 3 times off the edge. He's had pressure twice. I mean, he's moving them around. So for whatever it is, Wink wants him to look good.
Number 16, the quarterback was outside the pocket but did not get the ball back beyond the line of scrimmage. Spot foul, loss of down. It's 3rd down.
A guy doesn't wear that many hats unless you have a lot of confidence that his football intelligence is there, especially in a first preseason game and a guy just been playing running back forever.
And you said his sister's what? What's his sister?
A molecular biologist.
So it's, yes.
And I'd love to tell you what a molecular biologist does every day at the office, but that is way beyond my pay grade. Saints now in a 3rd and forever. Ian Book comes to the near sideline and is dropped by Jake Lampman, and that'll force the punt team on.
See,
Wait a second, we got a late flag. I mean, a late flag.
You just got taunting.
It's taunting.
And that's a big focus this year in the NFL.
Yep, sure.
We had a lot of that last year, which was really unnecessary, and he just did. He went to point at his face as soon as he dropped the ball. They're not going to let that get away this year.
Chris Westry.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 30. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down. This is number 30's first unsportsmanlike that counts towards possible disqualification.
Look, you're a young guy trying to make this football team, and you're a free agent to boot. You got to be careful doing things like that. Now, that's a tough way to make a football team get penalized 15 yards.
And it wasn't like Westry made a great play. The guy dropped the ball. That compounds it. You're advertising to John Harbaugh that you might not be what he's looking for as a Raven.
At the top of
That's
the route.
not a Raven. That's selfish football.
At the top of the route, the wide receiver pushed him off and then came back to the ball. Obviously, it frustrated Westry, but again, you don't react that way.
Ian Book rolls out, throws complete at the 35. That's Garrett Griffin, the tight end. For our radio partners on the simulcast, we pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Ravens Game Day Network. That's Kristen Welch, who is shaken up on the play. Welch is an important member of the Ravens special teams and a backup inside linebacker. So while the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside. 14-9, Saints 3rd quarter on the Ravens Game Day Network. Good to see Kristen Welch up under his own power as the medical staff takes a look at the inside linebacker. We go back to the play where the injury occurred. Pretty clean tackling for him. Put his shoulder into the receiver. Didn't put his head down. I'm not a doctor, but I've seen enough of these, Rod. I'm thinking neck stinger.
Yeah, well, shoulder.
I
think he felt it. As soon as he hit him, you can kind of see that left arm kind of go down a little bit. You know, hopefully he's okay. I mean, he's up, standing up. But that, you know, those sometimes it shocks you because you're going to the guy, you're getting ready to make the tackle, and you hit him sooner than you think. And sometimes the body's not ready to take the hit. And I've had it happen several times. And luckily for him, he got up and he's walking off right now.
One of the new emphasis points in tackling that a lot of the league is using now, and he did a good job on it, was to put the head behind rather than in front so that these kind of things don't happen. But it did happen there because there was such a jolt at the contact that he made. But he did do a good job of keeping the head behind. What I would say to that fellow right there, that I'm sure that their coaches will do in the film as well, is when you put the head behind, you always go for the ball with the front side hand. As you know, if that becomes second nature, you get on this football team. He knocks that ball out right there. He's talked about.
And we haven't seen Marlon Humphrey, obviously, tonight as Kristen Welch makes his way to the bench. But I would say there's nobody in the league that does it, what you're talking about, better than Marlon Humphrey.
Peanut Tillman punch.
Yep. On 2nd and 7, Ian Book, another screen through the hands of his receiver, the tight end Garrett Griffin, and the Saints will be looking at a 3rd down. When you came into the NFL, Rod, was the punch at all a part of it, or was that still verboten? No,
I mean, we were more 6-inch blow, you know, rising blow. That's how we always was taught. I mean, now the shoulder punch, but the Peanut Tillman punch, I mean, he brought that into play. The shoulder punch is more of a rugby thing. Now, they're just saying, since your shoulder is already there to the ball side, now punch with it at the same time.
On 3rd down, let's see if this young Ravens group can stop Ian Book. Pocket collapsing, and Book is dropped, but it is also a flag on the far side of the field.
They got 21. They got Stevens, I think, holding.
For a moment, that's another sack for Science, powered by Constellation. We'll see if it stands.
Holding, number 29, defense.
29.
5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
So that's Sean Wade. Sean Wade is a 5th-round draft pick out of Ohio State. Well, he once did a 2-day summer internship at the WWE headquarters, so perhaps he just got a little bit too tied up with thinking, come off the turnbuckle.
Thought he was Dick the Bruiser, man. I don't know if you guys remember that guy. Do you guys remember Dick the Bruiser? You remember it, right?
I didn't follow the WWE much.
I'm just trying to give the kids some cover. Saints go to the ground game. And Tony Jones scrambles out of bounds at the 23-yard line.
What about the Sheik?
Oh, yeah, the Sheik, the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know the Sheik. Okay, all right. So you saw it a little bit.
I saw something. I'm never a huge wrestling fan.
The Giant. Everybody knows the Giant.
Oh, man. And he was a giant.
Yes, he was.
Did you ever see him in person?
I've never seen
He made Jonathan Ogden look small. I mean, like, he's just one of those guys, when you get up near him, you're like, oh, my God made people that big?
And Jonathan Ogden is the biggest lineman I've ever seen in my life.
He's a big man.
There they go up the middle. It's at the 15. Ball is jarred loose, and the Ravens have recovered it. The Ravens force a 5th turnover as Aaron Adeoye comes up with a fumble recovery.
Did they punch that again?
I think 47 either got his
Yeah, he did.
Tony Jones had a huge hole on the cutback up the middle. And the Ravens force a 5th turnover as Aaron Adeoye gobbles up the goods. Darius Washington forces the fumble on the Ravens Game Day Network.
First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for having us here, having me and my brothers over here. And I have a special message from me. And, you know, he means a lot to me. And the hard work that he put in from where he was to where he is now, I couldn't be more proud of him. And, you know, he's like another brother to me. And I'd like to say to Challen, congratulations on being on scholarship now, my brother. I love you, my boy. Scholarship. Yes, sir.
Congratulations, Challen.
Tyler Tagovailoa letting one of his Maryland teammates walk on no. He is now a scholarship player as Tyler Huntley tries to make sure he remains on scholarship for the Ravens. Take a look at the reaction of the Terp players to the young man who was a walk-on. Just got word in front of this crowd that he's now a scholarship player.
That's the best scholarship, you know, telling somebody he got full ride that I've ever seen. I mean, he's in front of the nation. He's in front of Maryland community.
Flag and a whistle will negate the snap for Tyler Huntley.
Tell you, it's so refreshing watching the camaraderie that the young people have in sports.
Number 76 offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, you saw what a great start Patrick Queen got off to in this game. He joins Evan Washburn down on the field. Evan?
Jerry, thanks. Yeah, here with Patrick, and 5 turnovers. What's led to them? You were part of them to start this game, and now guys are picking up here in the second half.
Yeah, you know, all those drives, they were driving the ball, you know, and our coaches always preach to us, it's not over till it's over. So we're just finishing the drives, and, you know, we don't like like them to draw the ball on us, but as long as we're making plays and get off the field, that's all that matters.
How would you best evaluate the way you started this game? We saw the sack, and obviously year 2 coverage is so important for you. I know you mentioned that to us this week. How do you feel like you started this thing?
I feel like I did pretty good. You know, I had some chances in the backfield early in the game, and I missed them, losing my feet and stuff. But I feel like I did pretty good in coverage. Had the sack and the tackle for loss right before that, so I feel like I'm playing pretty good.
Where's your command of this defense in year 2? A lot's been put on your shoulders early in your career.
You know, Chuck is our guy. Chuck is our leader. He got the green dot. You know, he talks a lot, but I try to pick up from where he left off, and you know, I try to get the guys going, and you know, just try to be a leader, try to be a vocal leader, more vocal than I was last year, especially being comfortable this year. So you know, there's a lot to look forward to this year.
I mentioned this to JK earlier in the game. This is really your first chance to. This isn't even full, but you're getting some of the juice from this Ravens flock. What's it been like?
It's crazy. You know, we missed them last year, especially me coming from LSU, from Tiger Stadium, coming to no fans in the bank, and you know, we got them this year. And it was amazing. Like when I made the play and I heard the fans just going crazy, it's unreal.
What do you think the identity of this defense will be this season? I mean, it's a standard here. I understand that, but each year is different.
Yeah, we hunting. That's the only thing on our mind is just to go hunt. So that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna preach in. You know, we just gotta own up to it.
Appreciate the time, Patrick.
Yes,
Good
sir.
luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Patrick. And while our radio listeners were away here on our simulcast, Tyler Huntley had a short completion to Benjamin Victor. A third down run by Tyson Williams looked like it would be short of the first down, but an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Saints gives the Ravens a first down at the Ravens' 36-yard line. Tyler Huntley operating under center. Final 2 minutes of the third quarter. Huntley showing patience, and he throws incomplete. He just turfed that one at the feet of Ben Mason, knowing he's going to get Mason killed if he tried to throw it anywhere else. You like a quarterback who doesn't get his players in harm's way.
Well, being smart with the football.
Yep.
I mean, it's take care of the football. Your defense has gotten the ball for you quite a bit today. But on your side of the ball, when you have opportunities, don't put the ball in harm's way. Move the ball down the field. If it's not there, live for the next down. 5
turnovers forced by the Ravens defense in this game, but they still trail by 5 points.
Yeah.
Huntley out of the gun. Swing pass. Williams stiff arms a man, but is forced out of bounds, and the ball stripped away. But the Ravens will retain possession, and it's going to be a 3rd and long. Mike, you were saying?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, you know, that play right there in particular, just setting up this 3rd and 8 is really what I get to. The last one was I'll tell you what they did. A couple plays ago, they ran a little bit of the zone read, which they haven't done thus far in the game very much at all. And the thing that fans should always look for when they're kind of determining, is that a zone read or just a straight give, is if somebody's turned loose, he belongs to the quarterback. So if they block everyone, that can't be a zone read, even though it might look like it. But if somebody's unblocked and typically on the edge, that's a zone read for him.
Here comes a blitz. Huntley escapes, coming near sideline, crosses the 40, stumbles forward, and stretches for the first down. He gets out to the 49-yard line. A great piece of balance. As he was tripped up, the Rod had enough athleticism to pick up the first down.
That was awesome. I mean, he gets out of the pocket. He makes the decision to go for it. He's going for it. He gets tripped up. And that's great balance to put his hand down with the ball and not lose it and get the first down.
12-yard gain, a Ravens first down. Final minute of the third quarter. Josh Oliver, who goes in motion, he's in that battle for the 3rd tight end spot. Tyson Williams cuts back, finds a seam, picks up 7 on the run down to the 45-yard line. You know, if this is the regular season and the Ravens defense has forced 5 turnovers, you'd be looking for the ground game to just put this game away. Because you got to believe the Ravens' regular season offense does more with 5 turnovers than 9 points.
That's exactly right. That would be one of the comments I'd make, you know, in looking at it, is the fact that you've gotten the ball that many times, you should have more points than just 9.
And that's going to bring us to the end of the third quarter with the Saints in front of the Ravens. 14-9, 1 quarter of work left for Tyler Huntley. John Harbaugh, the Ravens, tonight on the Ravens Game Day Network. Hot summer night in Baltimore. The defense has been scorching hot in this game as the Saints lead at 14-9 with Patrick Queen with 4 tackles, Geno Stone a couple of interceptions, and the defense has been stellar, forcing 5 turnovers tonight. And that's really the way training camp has played out so far. The defense has dominated training camp, and they have carried that right over into the games. The offense we have seen limited with injuries on the offensive line and wide receivers, and that has carried into the preseason as well. It's a long summer and a lot of work to be done. Tyson Williams gets the carry. He's got a nice hold, bounces outside the numbers, 35. Williams inside the 30, and is all the way down to the 27-yard line. That is good for a Ravens first down.
Yeah, you know, this is thus far in this ball game. That's the first. They're getting into what they really do during the regular season. They're doing that type of an offense right now, and that's different from most people. That's why you see. It's almost like, to me, I see them taking charge. They're going to go try to win this ball game because they're getting back to who they are right now. But up to this point, even McSorley, when he's in there, they weren't running these same formations, not the same runs. This is in that zone read family right here. What they're doing.
I call this the pistol wing.
Yep.
And there's Williams right up the middle. Great push by the offensive line. He's down to the 21-yard line. That's 6 yards on first down.
That's what's really unique. Look at defensively, they're unique. They crowd the line of scrimmage with a lot of people. Okay, offensively, when they use this offense right here, it's very unique. And that's because it's, you know, you basically have 11 players and 6 of them can carry the ball as opposed to typically 5.
And you normally see defenses have the advantage in training camp and early in the preseason and even regular season, and then the offenses kind of come on after that, after they get a little rhythm about themselves.
Which is very much what we've seen tonight. Tyler Huntley rolls to the right, throws complete. Josh Oliver on a reception. He's got a first down as he takes it down at the 15-yard line. But again, look, we understand this is the second half of the first preseason game. This is not the AFC playoffs, but it is the playoffs for guys like Josh Oliver who are fighting for jobs. So every rep you can get in a game, if you have a good play, is one step in the direction of finding a roster spot.
Oh, absolutely. That's why when he threw that little bench route to him and it came to the backside shoulder and he didn't get to catch it, he was very upset. He wants those opportunities to be a positive opportunities for the coaching staff.
There's a power formation, double tight ends, fullback in front of the lead. Huntley will throw. He's pressured, runs to his left. Ooh, and he is cut in half. Ball comes loose, and the Saints recover at the 10. So Tyler Huntley made a classic mistake once he got outside of the pocket and had to decide he was not going to throw the ball. He's got to tuck that ball away, and John Harbaugh is waiting to have a parental discussion with him. I gave you the keys to the family car. You came back with a dent in the fender. That won't fly here on the Ravens Game Day Network. Don't forget to save the day for the Ravens Countdown to Kickoff, presented by Miller Lite. Monday, September 13th, here at M&T Bank Stadium. Live performances plus a watch party for the Ravens versus the Raiders game, the season-opening game, a Monday Night Showdown. Stay tuned to BaltimoreRavens.com for more information. So the Saints take over on the Ravens' first turnover of the night. The Ravens were knocking at the door for what looked like the go-ahead touchdown. Instead, they turn it over. Fumble ended an 11-play drive. The Saints open up with a 3-yard run. We go back to that Tyler Huntley fumble and conversation with the coach. Mike, take us through the mistake. Actually, he did tuck it away. I stand corrected, but he still fumbled.
He did, but I'll say this. You really do have to cover the ball with 2 hands. Like he went, he should have brought the other hand right over the top.
And what's the coach saying to him?
Son, what are you doing?
It was a short conversation.
It was, very short.
Quick toss complete to Jones out of the backfield. He's wrestled down shy of the first down. Nice open field tackle by our Darius Washington. Washington's an interesting story. Check that Chris Board, a veteran inside linebacker who first made it on this team as an undrafted rookie free agent. This year it's going to be tough for undrafted rookie free agents to make the team because it's such a strong draft class. The kid I mentioned, our Darius Washington, is on the field as well. He's number 47. We'll get to him after this play. 3rd down and 3 from the Saints 18. And it is all almost picked off by our Darius Washington. And the reason I was talking about him is he was an undrafted rookie free agent, which you tend to think of, okay, how's he going to fit in? The Ravens gave him $100,000 guaranteed between his bonus and his guaranteed salary, which tells you that Eric DeCosta and his scouts see something very special in this young man, and we almost saw it on that play.
I mean, I thought he picked it. I mean, he put his foot in the ground, and he went after it just a little bit earlier. That would have been a pick six.
He catches that ball, he might get $200,000.
A lot of times when a team will give a guy $100,000, like you said, who's a free agent, a lot of times it's because they had him on the board at like a 5th, 6th, 7th round player, and he's still on the board. And you get into free agency, you pay the people that you would have drafted a lot better than a free agent that's not on that board.
Here's one of the guys the Ravens did draft, Tylan Wallace, awaiting the punt. Wallace will backtrack inside the 30 and fumbles it, picks it up off the turf. Technically, that's a muff. But he falls on the ball, doesn't make many points, however, with that punt return. Our Darius Washington with a great break on the ball. Almost got the 6th turnover of the night. Ravens continue to trail on the Ravens Game Day Network. Game Day Network is presented by Geico. 14-9, Saints lead it by 5. Let's see if Tyler Huntley can give the Ravens a go-ahead touchdown drive. That's what the Ravens are looking for with 11:42 left to play in the ball game. Huntley turned it over with a fumble on the last possession. Hands it off. Nice run here. That's Nate McCrary all the way out to the 42-yard line.
He's got a little juice to him right there.
Rookie free agent out of Saginaw Valley State, a 21-yard run.
I mean, saw the opening, got to the left-hand side, and just outran it. The rest of the defenders to the sideline.
We saw it with Patrick Queen, L.J. Fort, but you see it with Nate McCrary. New numbering system this year in the NFL. Running backs, tight ends, linebackers, defensive backs can wear the number from 1 to 19. McCrary running on the left side this time. Gets only 2 or 3.
Do you like that, Coach? Do you like the new numbering system?
It doesn't bother me. In preparation for the game, if you've done your homework, guys are going to they're going to be fine with it.
I can't stand it.
I can't stand it either.
Now, whether you like it or not,
this means we're old school.
It messes us up a little bit, I guess, but no, it doesn't bother me.
Well, I guess, you know, if you're Queen, it gives him swag. So that's why
he called it single-digit swag, but I'm not intimidated by a guy wearing number 6. 52, that scares me. 6, no big deal.
6, you think he's a quarterback.
Right. Huntley will roll out, throws to Josh Oliver. Oliver at midfield, he is jacked up.
I don't know why. No, I mean, that's I like what I love about Greg Roman is that he puts his quarterbacks in really comfortable positions, getting them out of the pocket so they can see half the field, easier throws, making better decisions for themselves.
Yeah, and those are the kinds of guys, that's what they have. Those are the guys. You do want to get them out of there. I mean, McSorley's only about 5'11", 6 foot even at that, so it's kind of tough sometimes in the pocket for him to see, but moving the pocket, you're exactly right. That's a good choice.
Pistol formation. Huntley tosses to McCrary, sweeping to the left side, hurdles one man into Saints territory. He's got a first down at the New Orleans 46-yard line. And Roger Wright, this kid Nate McCrary, showing some juice.
There's your 3rd and short that you were looking at earlier. You were wondering when they would run the ball, but then obviously you got your run right there. The other ones have been, with the exception of one draw we had early that didn't work, that's really the second run you've gotten on 3rd and short. During the season, well, I tell you guys, they run the ball more on 3rd and 3 and 4 than any team in the league, and they convert quite a bit.
3 carries, 27 yards for the rookie free agent out of Saginaw Valley. Division II program, but he is playing top tier tonight. Huntley with a deep drop. Blitz pressure coming. Huntley escapes to the right. Extends. Throws. Far sideline. He's got a man there. Tylan Wallace. Incomplete. He could not keep his feet in bounds. But we just saw what the scouts were attracted to by this kid. Great hands.
Great hands with him. But, I mean, Huntley did a great. He stepped up. Kicked back outside to the right side. Gets back out of the pocket. Throws it a little bit too wide. But this is really close. I mean, he's dragging that toe. He's dragging it. He's dragging it. He's dragging it. Awesome. Yeah, that's up.
But some positives despite the incompletion as Tylan Wallace shows off Spider-Man stickiness with the hands on the sideline. 2nd down and 10. Huntley throws down the middle. Good night. Devin Gray with the reception. Takes the hit. Picks up 13. and moves the chains.
Yeah, that's the same formation that ran the draw out just a little while ago. They opened up to 4 wide. They softened the defense, and they got the ball in the underneath coverage.
And now they're going no huddle, which we saw in the first half. First time we've seen it with Huntley. Takes the snap, throws quickly, complete to the rookie free agent who was just signed about a week and a half ago, Cioce Mariner.
You see the tempo pick up quite a bit right here, just as he did with McSorley earlier, and it did throw the Saints off on the defense, and is doing a little bit of that now. Now, right here, it's not the case, but like I said, those last few plays in a row with an up-tempo kind of gave them some trouble.
And it was lighting up Lamar on the sideline. He loves up-tempo. 2nd and 4. It gives to Tyson Williams. Puts his head down and pushes his way inside the 30-yard line. It'll be a 3rd and a long 2, short 3, with 8 minutes even left to play in the ball game. The 4th quarter of tonight's broadcast is brought to you by the Toyota RAV4. RAV4 is the original and the official SUV of the Baltimore Ravens.
This style of offense that they're running with Huntley is a little bit more like Lamar than what they did with McSorley. Then what comes to my mind real quick is when you make the decision on who your backup is, it kind of tells me right away who right now you would be favoring. Whether that's right or not, that's how I would think about it as a spectator.
Huntley throws complete on 3rd down. That's Eli Wolf, the backup tight end, making a sliding catch at the 24-yard line, and it moves the chains with 7:22 left to play in the ball game.
I like his decision making. I mean, he's getting back, he's seeing the guy, and he's letting the ball go.
Huntley will throw on 1st down. Scramble to the left, extends the play, lob near sideline. It is caught. Benjamin Victor down at the 5-yard line. Eli Wolf thought the ball was heading for him. He reached up. It looked like it was over Wolf, and it was perfect to Benjamin Victor. And they're going hurry-up offense. What do you think? Is this an overthrow or is this a strike?
I think this is a run.
I think that was a strike.
Oh, the last one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. You mean, was it to the tight end coming across?
Right.
Yeah. Let's give the benefit of the doubt. I think it was right on the money.
New Orleans there first.
Saints will use a timeout.
6 minutes and 45 seconds. 6:45.
6:45 left to play in the ball game. Ravens down 5 on the Ravens Game Day Network. Lidos and the Ravens are partnering to tackle opioid addiction. You can join our team and help by checking in your medicine cabinets and getting rid of unused or expired medicine. To learn more, go to Lidos.com/opioids. All right, Rod, 6:45 left to play in this game. Tyler Huntley doing what we said the Ravens wanted to see on this drive. Get this drive into the end zone and do it with athletic plays. That's what he's doing.
I mean, you know, Greg Roman is getting him out of the pocket, but that's a strike. Going to your left-hand side when you're a right-handed quarterback, you got to flip your whole hip to get square back again. And, I mean, that was a bullet. Lamar is going crazy with that. And you might be Notre Dame's coach. I mean, you said that the same type of offense they will run with Lamar, they are running with Huntley. So it might be the guy.
We might have a new nickname for Mike Nolan, Coach Stradamus.
Yeah.
I like it.
Let's see if Huntley can finish off this drive. 6:45 left to play. Tonight's Ravens Game Day Network is presented by Geico. Huntley rolls to the right with a rolling pocket, lob to the back of the end zone, but he led Jalen Moore too far, incomplete.
Yeah, it looked like he was just getting rid of that ball.
Yeah. Got a little pressure.
I love how into the game Lamar Jackson is watching these backups.
Yeah. No, he's geeked. I mean
he's a team player.
He's a team player. I mean, he's young too. I mean, he's supposed to act like that.
I think it's just great energy that his whole team rallies around the way he gets into this. He's both fan, friend, and mentor to guys like Huntley and McSorley. Huntley keeps it on the read option. Up the middle, is in the end zone. Tyler Huntley puts the Ravens in front for the first time in the second half.
That's Lamar Jackson.
Let me tell you what, seriously, if we get a chance to replay this, it'd be great to see. But that is one of the most difficult plays to stop. It's called a power O read.
Yes.
And the back will go one way away, which will track the linebackers, and then you get a counter O back that way, and he's the ball carrier. Defensively, unless you're in a zero coverage, you are short one player.
You're short.
Don't worry about it. You are short a player. If everybody tracks the ball properly, you haven't got a guy there. Somehow you got to just get a guy that overcomes it and stays home. Unless you're, like I said, that's what happened to them. They were on zero coverage.
So it's the perfect call and the perfect situation and perfect execution.
Now, I'll say this also about them. They run it a lot down there. So it's not like they didn't know it was coming. I mean, it's a play that they run quite a bit. But it is a really great play to run.
And this season, for every Ravens touchdown, Baltimore area Toyota dealers will donate $500 to Kennedy Krieger. That's another $500 for Kennedy Krieger from Toyota. The referee tonight.
Timeout, Baltimore. Their first 30-second timeout.
Clay Martin with the call here. The Geico scoring drive. 12 plays, 79 yards, 5 minutes and 6 seconds. Rod, Tyler Huntley did exactly what we talked about at the start of that, and what a way to finish it.
Yeah, no, this is counter O power. What do you call it? Counter O power?
So it is. Yep. Power O read. Power O read. Power meaning there's a double team at the point of attack.
Anytime the quarterback is running with the ball, it's an extra blocker. So you're short.
You got an extra ball carrier.
You got an extra ball carrier.
Same thing, but you got an extra ball carrier. That's why. And you saw the back go the other way. That's going to track the linebackers because the linebackers are in coverage on that player. So when that quarterback comes back around, unless again you're in a zero, it's and even then it's tough.
And a zero would be an all-out blitz.
All-out blitz. Now you don't have to be blitzing, but you have to have those keep people committed to the line of scrimmage.
Ravens opt for 2. Huntley alone in the backfield. Lobs it back end zone. Victor is the target. A flag is down at the end of the incompletion. So the Ravens will get another shot.
I mean, when did like if it's not catchable?
Don't be defending the defensive backs already.
I am. It's like hard. It's in my gene. It's like, you know, it's part of my body.
You got to defend your people.
You know, it's like fam. Extended family somewhere along the line.
So let's say this is regular season and that's against the Ravens.
Interference. Number 21 defense. The foul occurred in the end zone. It will be placed at the 1-yard line. We'll retry for 2 points.
If this is the regular season.
No.
See, if he's not interfered with, that ball's catchable. Preseason or regular season. The reason it didn't look catchable is he gets knocked down. If that's a big kid. He's Victor's 6'2", 6'3". If he's standing up and he can jump, it's a catchable ball. I'm saying. Rob's looking at me like, son, I'm gonna whack you in the head. Tyson Williams will carry it in for the 2-point conversion. Get in.
He got it.
And the Ravens extend the lead to 3. And that will be our Maryland Lottery play of the game. Tyler Huntley's touchdown and then Tyson Williams 2-point conversion. It gives the Ravens a 17-14 lead. 6:35 left on the Ravens Game Day Network.
I thought that was uncatchable, and I didn't think the contact was enough to give.
There is no foul for 12 men on the defense. The result of the play is a successful 2 points for Baltimore. Timeout.
Left to play. 4th and 5. Jackson rolls to the right. Lobs deep. He's got a man open. Hollywood Brown. He's going in. Touchdown, Ravens. Oh, it's unbelievable. As if scripted by Steven Spielberg. Justin Tucker will come on to attempt the game-winning field goal from 55 yards. Tucker's kick. It is long enough. It is good. And it is over in Cleveland. Well, those are the exciting quarterback finishes we love to see and that Lamar Jackson has brought to the Ravens, and that takes the Ravens into 5 primetime games because Lamar Jackson's cachet has made the Ravens a national brand. People love to watch him all across the country, as they do love to watch the Ravens now. And it starts off in the season opening game, a Monday night game in Vegas, followed by a Sunday night game here in Baltimore, back-to-back primetime. You've got the Colts on ESPN, the Dolphins on a Thursday night game. And how about this? The Cleveland Browns, the Ravens-Cleveland Browns game at the end of November. That shows you how much a power shift has taken place in the AFC North, that you would have the Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. For years, it was the Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
November prime time, and now it's the Ravens and the Browns. It's Lamar Jackson and, of course, his draft mate, Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. They came in first and 32nd in that draft class, and they will duel as division foes for years to come. Jake Verity with a kickoff. He'll be taken 3 yards deep, brought out of the end zone. Across the 15 to the 20. Good coverage by the Ravens there. As we look at the numbers of the two backup quarterbacks battling for this job, they're almost identical. Trace McSorley in the first half, 11 of 18 for 86 yards. Tyler Huntley in the second half, 11 of 15 for 73 yards. That's where, to me, numbers can be a little misleading, because nothing against Trace McSorley. Tyler Huntley had more of those moments in the spotlight. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I thought, look, thus far I would say that Huntley's definitely done a better job with it, but I also would say that he's got the same offense being called for him that Lamar would use. That's not what McSorley was using. He was a little bit different. Not all the plays, but several of the plays were plays for one. He didn't do any of his own read. He was strictly just a prototypical run game. But that's really what's telling me. The type of offense they're calling with the two different quarterbacks is kind of telling.
Yeah, it feels different. It feels like more energy, more excitement, more splash plays are coming for the offense in the second half. But then again, you're playing against thirds, you know,
instead of seconds.
Instead of the seconds. So how would he look if he did play in the first half? You know, do they switch it up when they do have Lamar for a short period of time? Does Huntley go next and then McSorley go after that? So then McSorley gets the third. So it'd be interesting to see how they do it the next couple of weeks.
Good chance that's what you get next week. I bet you they do flip them. That would make perfect sense, because for exact reason, because they are saying the same things as coaching staff. They're saying, here's the guys he played against, here's the guys he went against. But they certainly think different of the two guys and what they can do.
John Harbaugh wants to see his young defenders shut the door on the Saints here with 5.5 minutes left to play in the ball game. The Ravens with a 3-point lead. Broke under pressure, escapes the sack, throws it out of bounds. And that time, Dalen Hayes, the 5th-round draft pick out of Notre Dame, had a shot at the quarterback, but did not contain his angle, Mike. I mean, that's a sack you got to get.
It is. First off, you don't want to let the quarterback out of the pocket. You want to get to quarterback depth, and then you want to collapse it by just pushing him back inside and having good eyes on him. So if he does get, you can get out of there and get on the guy. But this is the time you definitely don't want it. Then when a quarterback can extend a play, that's hard on the defense, because all the structure that you've put in on defense is broken down as well.
Stay on the uphill shoulder of the quarterback and go get in.
Just let him dip under you.
3rd down and 8. Book out of the shotgun, drifting to his left, trying to extend the play. Now he reverses, comes back to the right. He's going to be hit and sacked back at the 25-yard line. Jalen Ferguson and L.J. Ford.
Yep.
Ron, what do you think? Coverage sack?
Coverage sack. He thought he was playing against Purdue. He thought he was at Notre Dame still, and he thought Purdue wasn't going to be there. But they're there. It's the Ravens.
Points to Ron. It only took 4 quarters to get a Purdue mention in.
It wasn't a good Purdue mention, though.
Fair. You know what? That is a very fair point.
Yeah, he doesn't appear to me to be elusive enough to reverse field again. He could just take it up the sideline there, get what you can, and move on, take the punt.
4th quarter of tonight's broadcast is brought to you by the Toyota RAV4. And now it's up to the offense to see if they can wind out this clock. James Prochet on the punt return. Fields it cleanly on the far side outside the numbers and will step out of bounds at the 33-yard line. So Tyler Huntley engineered the go-ahead touchdown drive. Now, as he talks with quarterback coach James Urban, he wants to make sure he can put together it's kind of the 4-minute drill, but with the lead, where you want to make sure you take all 4:13 off of the clock. So, Mike, from a coach's perspective, how does this change the play calling?
Well, right now you're still just in a normal game situation. You're trying to take it, but you want to get into the 4 minutes, and then that other team, the defensive team, is the team that needs to start talking about a 4-minute drill. But until the offense gets under 2 minutes, they're kind of in the same mode. But they definitely want to get first downs. They want to end the game, obviously, with the ball.
Huntley's last 2 possessions, 11 plays, 74-yard, ended in a fumble. 12 plays, 79 yards, ended with a touchdown. But this will start with a penalty.
12 men on the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Head down to the field. Evan Washburn standing by with the veteran, Calais Campbell.
Jerry, thanks. And Calais, in street clothes tonight for good reason. You've earned your time to watch your guys work. Your impressions from this defense, 5 turnovers and some key sacks here down the stretch.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. You know, I mean, obviously there's some plays we're going to want to clean up, some mistakes and stuff. I mean, there's way too many rushing yards for my liking. But I love to see that we just don't fold. And we defend every blade of grass, and we just come up with turnovers in big moments. It's been huge for us.
What stood out to you over the course of these first 3 weeks in camp as you guys build the identity of this defense?
You know, I think the biggest thing is, you know, we got a lot of turnovers in practice. You know, we've been working on the defend every blade of grass mentality, and to see it come to fruition tonight, because, I mean, there's some plays where, you know, it looked like it could have got ugly, and we saw us come up with a big play. And it's different people, you know, making big plays, and that's what I like to see, man, because this defense is special when we can play like this.
Put your analyst hat on, if you could. A rookie in Owe and Haynes and those guys. What has stood out about their work early?
Yeah, you know, they're talented. You know, they're talented. And to see them out here actually getting real plays that matter, you know, it's a good feeling. I mean, 99, he made 3 or 4 big plays tonight. And really, he's mad at himself because that sack, you know, he fell off and somebody else got it, but it's still a heck of a play. Just getting there, make him put the ball down. If somebody else makes a play, hey, even better. You know, just as a team, we make a lot of plays together. We're going to win a lot of ball games. What's
the excitement level when you see Justin Houston come in late here in the offseason and start to assimilate himself with this D?
Extremely excited. You know, he's one of those guys who understands he's a high football IQ. You know, and when we talk through football and what we can do, how we can work together, I get excited because, you know, it's nice to have another guy who understands the game at that level.
And lastly, understanding you guys are in the moment, but when you take a big picture view of this team on both sides of the ball, what has you most energized about the opportunity you guys have this season?
I think the biggest thing is that, you know, we play situationally smart and we're physical. I mean, you know, we've been out there, I mean, I see pads get knocked back and just physicality. I love to see it on both sides of the ball.
Always great to see it, Calais. Good luck this year, man.
Thank you.
That is the embodiment of a great player and a leader. Calais Campbell. Tyler Huntley on 3rd down, has time in the pocket, throws to his tight end, Eli Wolf. Wolf tries to shoulder his way through a defender, but is taken down shy of the 1st down at the Ravens' 35-yard line. The punt team will have to come on with clock running, 3:10 left to play in the ball game. So, Mike, to your point, now we will see the defense having to deal with the under 4 minute where the defense has to secure the win.
Yeah, and they're looking at just under 3 minutes. They have a field goal to tie the game, although there's no overtime now, as we know.
For which we are all grateful.
So they'll be basically trying to keep them from scoring a touchdown, which means they have to travel the full length of the field, whatever it is, where this ball ends up right here.
On to punt, Johnny Townsend.
I like that play they just called a minute ago, that 3rd down, because they gave him a chance to get the 1st down. It wasn't just a good one.
Himself Winston with the fair catch. Saints will have 2:29 left to play, and the Ravens leading by 3. Well, Geno Stone is their advanced defensive player of the game in the 1st quarter, the first of his 2 interceptions. Well, I love a defensive back who gets the ball thrown right to him and doesn't spend the rest of the game saying, oh, I wish I'd caught that. I mean, he made a nice reach down, keep it off the turf grass.
Most defensive backs are defensive backs for a reason.
Right.
I mean, they converted some receivers because they couldn't catch when they were younger.
But Geno Stone showed some hands in his 2nd season. 7th round draft pick a year ago. Getting his first preseason action. Ian Book off the pump fake, throws complete. Short gain out to the 26-yard line. Devontae Harris, a veteran defensive back.
It's a good job by the defense. That's what you're trying to do. Keep the ball in front of you in this situation. Don't let them compete. Because, again, they've got to score a touchdown to end the ball game. Ties don't happen. Or ties will end. Nobody's going for a tie.
Possibly the final play before the 2-minute warning. That is a completion out to the 45. It's at 50 in the Ravens territory, all the way down to the 35-yard line. Coming down with a reception and run, Jawan Johnson, and he brings us to the 2-minute warning with 1:56 left to play in the ball game. And the Ravens clinging to that 3-point lead, 17-14. It's up to a young defense to try to shut the door here on the Ravens Game Day Network. So a measure of drama to close things out. 1:56 left to play in the game. The Ravens lead the Saints 17-14, but the Saints, after a 38-yard gain, have the ball at the Ravens' 35-yard line. Well, if we were going to take a look at the keys to the game brought to you by Nissan, I would say the key to winning the game is the 6th defensive turnover of the game. 5 might not be enough to seal it. You might need 6 here. Ian Book under pressure, sidesteps a sack, sprints to the near sideline, and throws the ball out of bounds to preserve clock with 1:49. So our Darius Washington came clean off the edge. Mike, what did he do wrong?
He didn't do anything wrong, obviously. What had happened on that play is they brought that several times today. They brought it with 47. They brought it earlier with Brandon Stevens. It's the same exact call. It's just a nickel blitz off the outside. The line slants away, so if the ball does go run away, it's an easy stop, which would have happened on that one. The boot, he's got it. He should have stayed outside that guy. That's his responsibility, and he needs to make that play.
So just learning moments for young players who are trying to learn what it feels like to win in the NFL. Ravens have won 17 straight preseason games. Ian Book will throw. Lobs it to the far sideline, and it is picked off. Shaun Wade, the rookie out of Ohio State, seals it. How about that for a rookie moment?
He did a really good job staying on top. He sees the ball coming. It's really not a great throw, and he really contorts his body to catch it in the air with his hands.
A reach back over the shoulder grab, and Shaun Wade makes the biggest play of his young life in the NFL. And when you can make your head coach smile like that on the sideline, you have made progress toward making the 53-man roster.
That's a big play for the young kid. That's nice.
Listen,
now they shouldn't have to give the ball back. With one timeout here, they should be able to run this thing out if they just stretch it. They just dive it.
And Sean Payton will use his last timeout.
Timeout. New Orleans. Their third and final timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
So the 6th turnover of the night by the Ravens defense. As we talk about turnovers, how about the Ford True View as we take a look at Geno Stone's 2nd interception of the night?
That's a nice tips and overthrows. You got to get those. Look where he comes from to make that interception.
Center field sliding into second base. That's a lot of land to cover.
A lot of land, but if you catch the ones that come to you, you lead the lead.
One of the 6 defensive turnovers forced by this Ravens defense tonight. They have gone to victory formation with 1:42 left to play. Tyler Huntley takes a knee. He'll have to take one more snap, but we can say it for the first time in 2021, the hay's in the barn. And the win streak in the preseason is 18 in a row. Again, we're not talking to 72 Dolphins, but John Harbaugh preaches competition from the moment rookies arrive at the castle. He wants you to compete in the weight room, on the practice field, on the game field. And it matters. It matters to this organization to win in August. He believes if you win in August, you're going to increase your chances of winning the fall.
You know, you do teach people how to win. You got to work on it. And I know this, the players feel a lot better about a victory as well.
Players get a day off tomorrow. Ravens defense in the second half equally stellar as the first half. They held the Saints to only 6 first downs, and they held New Orleans scoreless. 6 turnovers by this Ravens defense. 3 in the first quarter, and they just kept them coming.
Well, they'll be number 1 in the preseason for takeaways. with only 3 preseason games, I think they got a lock.
It was nice to see so many young players get in the mix on that. This would be would have been the last snap. If it's a defensive penalty, there'll be a 40-second runoff. If it's an offensive penalty, they'll back him up 5.
You know, when Huntley fumbled that ball down here and all, I know you said he had his hand, he's got that one hand on it, but when you are going down, that other hand's got to come over top the ball. It'll also actually protect you, because if you're taking a shot to the chest like you would, you got 2 hands there, you're better than showing your chest with one arm on the ball. So I think it's real important that when you know you're going down, which he was going down, you need to put that hand on that ball.
False start. number 62 offense. Penalties half the distance to the goal. It's still third down. New Orleans has declined the 10-second runoff option.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Tyler Huntley takes a snap, leans forward, and that will do it. Coaches and players can meet at midfield, and John Harbaugh has his win number 1 in 2021 preseason, his 18th straight win in August. Sean Payton has some decisions to make for his starting quarterback. John Harbaugh has decisions to make for his backup quarterback. But we saw some bright moments from both Trace McSorley and Tyler Huntley. Lamar Jackson had a lot to smile about. Some final thoughts, Mike and Rod. Rod, you start us off.
I liked it. You know, defense obviously played the way the standard is for the defense here. And I thought in the second half, the offense looked like the offense. And obviously, it was different play calling and whatnot. I think Huntley helped himself quite a bit today to figure out who's going to be that starting quarterback if anything ever happened to Lamar. And I think that's definitely a positive for his football team.
Mike, how about you?
Yeah, I tell you what, I really liked the game the way it went. Look, you got to remember this too. This is two very good football teams. Although we were looking at a lot of backups today throughout the game, both of these teams are likely to be playoff football teams. So there was a lot of really intense competition going on that I think deserves to be noted, because it wasn't as though, you know, the Saints come in here, the Ravens. I mean, you got two good teams, so that was important. I love the fact of takeaways. Always have. I know that they're disappointed. I can tell you right now, Wink does not feel good at all about his run defense, and that's gonna, you know, he's gonna smile and all when they say takeaways, and that's the most important thing. And I'm with him on that, because that's what wins ball games. But you don't play run defense like that in Deer Raven, and they'll get that fixed. It's almost a blessing that it happened, because they'll do something about it.
Give you a little learning curve as you move forward. Give the young guys something to work on. A lot of smiles for guys like Dalen Hayes and the young guy, but the smile of the night belongs to Tyler Huntley. His game-winning touchdown, the difference in the Ravens win over the Saints on the Ravens Game Day Network.